everybody. It's another Tuesday night in the year 2025, and you all know what that means. We are
I love that hat.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, www.WeLikeSportsPC.com proudly presents to you its podcast tag team champions of the world, the Cleat Geek, Mike Valentine. Cheese. We ain't got a nickname for him yet, but we'll get him one at Football with Cheese. And
Cheese
we are the 643 and out guys, and you're listening to the Sportz Truth. Cheese, buddy, I know you're jealous of the hat, but how have you been, sir?
Extremely jealous. It's eating away at me. Jealousy.
I know it.
You said I need a nickname. My nickname is actually Cheese. So
I know. I was going to do some great nickname, and I'm like, wait a minute, that is a nickname. Now I don't know what to say. So
yeah, that's what all my friends call me. So
every once in a while, we we do something like that to where I'm actually at a loss for words. It doesn't happen too often. I don't know. I like his nickname. But hey, we're good to go, buddy. So how's it been since the last time I saw you? About a week ago today, buddy.
It's been well. Things are well. How is Michael doing?
Michael's doing fantastic, actually. Michael gets to make a big announcement here in about 30 seconds. But so we are the 643 and out guys. I know that right now Cheese is kind of the intern guy. We're trying to see what's going on with everybody else here. But he has agreed to be on here if we deem it necessary in order to do so. But I gotta take a drink from my serpentine cup here for a second.
So I actually started putting my water in a mug as a tribute to Gabriel.
Oh yeah,
he always has his mug, so that's
he always has his in a mug. Yep. All right. So there's a nice tribute to Gabriel as we are. Man, our numbers are taking off, buddy. So. Everybody wants to, I don't know, what should we try more often? You got to be a little more specific, Harrison. I don't know what you're talking about. Should we try cheese more often? Is that what we should try more often?
I'm starting to really like Daniel.
Are you? Yeah, see, now it's not like he's not white or anything, but whatever. I guess if he is white, he can tell me how white I am, I guess. So we're good to go there. All right. So the 643 and out guys, this is called the Sportz Truth. We got a brand new logo up at the top. Yeah, that's what I said. It's not.
I love the logo, by the way.
Oh, Serpiente.
That's awesome.
Oh, okay. You're right. I was wrong. It pains me to say that you were right. It doesn't really pain me to say I was wrong because I'm wrong all the time, but it pains me to say you were right. So got ourselves a nice new logo up there in the top right-hand corner. If you didn't notice it, we have always called ourselves the 643 and out guys. The Twitter account is the 643 and out pod. Let me explain that real quick, and then that'll lead into my announcement here. 643, like a double play in baseball, and then 3 and out, as if you can't get a first down in football. We just kind of cram those two things together because what we are going to mainly cover here is football and baseball, as I scratch the allergy out of my eye here. So Cheese obviously is the football portion of this show since he has his own podcast called Football with Cheese. Now, Cheese, I teased it a little bit earlier online, and then I asked you earlier because Cheese doesn't even know this. I asked him earlier if he'd ever heard of the Locked On Podcast Network. I won't tell you what his response was since I'm getting ready to work for them. But I'll just leave that to the two of us. But I am now going to be the baseball end of this thing, like I have pretty much, at least I have thought I've always been. I take over this coming Monday as the host for Locked On Diamondbacks. So I'm extremely proud of that. I can't wait to get that started. I will not be discontinuing this podcast. We will continue to do this podcast every Tuesday night, whether it's with Cheese or with someone else. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. That means a lot to us. He has reposted the stream, and a lot of you guys have done that for us in the past too. Thank you for doing that. You knew already, buddy. All right.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
That's a big deal. If anyone doesn't know, that's a big deal, because some of these Locked On podcasters, they go on to huge things. That is a huge deal. But not every Locked On podcaster is like really good, but Michael is. So congratulations.
Well, I appreciate that, sir. I really do. Not every podcast I've ever watched is really good either. And you know, we've had several people. We try to collaborate on here a lot. And if you are a podcaster and you're listening to us and you're like, wow, I wouldn't mind being on that show, let me know. We'll certainly look at your podcast. And then if we believe that it will help both of us out or all of us out, then we will certainly collaborate with you. We love to do that. All right, buddy. So we are going to do baseball first, since the All-Star game is on right the moment. Let us get into a little bit of our walk-up music here as I touch the wrong mouse and wonder why it's not coming up. That would be why. So let me find what we need here. And then we are going to start, Cheese, the walk-up music. And then when we come back from it, I need an update on the All-Star game, all right?
Okay.
Okay. That took a minute, but all right.
Are you ready?
Well, it's a commercial, so I don't really know what's going on.
10 seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody, we are ready and willing to go. We can't wait to get this whole thing started myself. And of course, you got Cheese over there. He does football with Cheese. We are going to be all over MLB. We're going to be all over college football today, and we're going to end being all over NFL. We're going to talk about the Brewers. We're going to talk about division winners. We're going to jump into some Teddy Bridgewater conversation. That should be interesting. We are going to look at the biggest, at least in my opinion, college football matchup of Week 1, Ohio State hosting Texas. And we'll look at it today from Texas's point of view, and next week we'll look at it from the point of view of the Ohio State Buckeyes. If you don't know, we're going to look at a long-term effect of a guy from Fort Wayne, Indiana. We'll get to that here in just a moment. When we jump into our NFL conversation, we'll then look at the 49ers and the disturbing trend that's going on in their organization. We'll look at the Chicago Bears, because we're going to ask the question, does it make sense to sign Ryan Poles to a 5-year contract extension right now? Then we're going to conclude everything today with a few other things sprinkled in there that we, of course, don't want to mention everything in the intro. But the last thing we do will be a new one called the Truth Top 10. And we're going to do that on Super Bowl contenders. So all of that and much more here on the Sportz Truth. Cheese, tell us where we can find you at before we get everything going, buddy. What is your YouTube channel and what's your Twitter handle, bud?
So my Twitter handle is at Football Cheese, basically football and then CHEEZ. And as you see on the screen, it's Football with Cheese is my channel. We go over NFL, we talk college football. We big emphasis on the NFL draft. If you know me, I analyze the draft like crazy. love that weekend. And, a lot of podcasts and channels don't talk about college football. Most football channels don't talk about it. So that's why I'm pretty excited about tonight's show. We're going to talk about college football a lot, and my channel talks about it a lot as well. So, yeah.
Right. We're going to jump into college football here in the second segment. The first segment we're going to do is MLB 4 Pitch Talk. And before we get into it, Cheese, I'm going to give you a stat that wasn't on our show notes, and I want to get your reaction from it. Here we go. Okay. Every once in a while, I like throwing things at the co-hosts, so we're going to do that right off the bat here. So according to Bob Nightingale, if you don't follow Bob Nightingale, it's at B Nightingale on his X handle. He's a great follow. For the first time in MLB history, there are 5 players with 30 or more home runs at the All-Star break. Those 5 guys are Cal Raleigh, who won the home run derby last night, Aaron Judge. So Raleigh has 38, Judge has 35, Shohei Ohtani, who has 31, Eugenio Suarez, who has 31, and Kyle Schwarber, who has 30. Knowing that there are 5 guys for the first time ever in MLB at the All-Star break, what do you think that says about the current state of Major League Baseball?
I think it says that it's a home run league. It's all about hitting homers. Batting average has gone down. On base percentage has gone down. You don't have a lot of players that are just, you don't have Tony Gwynn and Wade Boggs. Almost everyone is trying to hit a homer. You look at lineups, from the really good teams, everyone's going to hit 15 homers. Almost everybody. Probably 7 of the 9 guys. I don't have a good hitting catcher that they won't, but it's all about the long ball. Players are trying to swing. Launch angle is important. So, yeah.
Yeah, unless you're Jazz Chisholm in the All-Star home run derby, and then you're only going to hit 3 or something like that. So, kind of embarrassing. Rough. But hey,
Matt Olson is embarrassing too. But
right. I didn't watch a lick of it last night, to be honest. I taped it, and I'll probably watch it later on in the week since there's no baseball until Friday. But I have some time. So, tell us, buddy, what's the update on the All-Star game? I asked you to get that for us. Tell us what you got, bud.
I'd have to actually look.
Okay.
Pete Alonso is not being very productive. It's 2-0. Ketel Marte has both RBIs, so he is obviously the favorite for the MVP right now. So Ohtani and Acuna had single. There you go. And then Ketel Marte double. So the first 3 batters in the first inning reached. And so National League leads 2-0. They usually don't win the All-Star game. So it'd be nice to see the National League win.
Yeah, they usually don't. You're right about that. So it's
great point
about
Adam
Dunn. To see what's going to happen here the rest of the way.
That was a great point about Adam Dunn right there.
This one? Yeah, Dunn would have been a top DH.
I think it was Ralph's comment, but yeah.
That's our buddy JC right there. He's and then you had Ricky up here.
Oh, Ricky, not Ralph. Sorry.
It's all right.
Ricky.
Ricky, Ralph, close enough. I'm sure he's been called worse, right, Ricky? He'll comment.
Strikeouts aren't as right. People strike out more than ever. Yeah. Adam Dunn would have. Yeah, I agree completely with Ricky.
Yeah, but then he would have, even though he batted .219, everybody would have been okay with it, right?
Kyle Schwarber had a year where he had a 203 and still was thought to be having a great year. Exactly. If you hit 219 30 years ago, you would be in AAA.
Right. You really would.
So
yeah, because it was a different league back then, right? I mean, I know we try to, and that's why it's really hard to compare players from like the 60s to now and stuff like that, because it was a totally different game back then. So yeah, 100% agree with you here. Let's put our first banner up at the very bottom, because we are going to ask a question here, jumping right into the All-Star game. I don't know if this has happened yet, but let's talk about it real fast. So Brewers starting pitcher Jacob Mezorowski made the All-Star game. He has started 5 games. He has a 2.81 ERA, a .896 WHIP, which obviously is lower than 1, so walks and hits per innings pitched, and he has 33 Ks in 25 and 2/3 innings. Cheese, do you agree with this selection?
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. This is all about MLB trying to put the most exciting players in the game and not who deserves it. The All-Star game has always been about who deserves to be there. Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies has more than 3 times as many innings. He's got a better ERA. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ranger Suarez of the Phillies has more than double the innings, 2.15 ERA. And you know me, I don't like the Phillies. I'm a Braves fan. But both of those players deserve it, and both should be in the game regardless. And I think it's a terrible move, and it's showing that baseball cares about ratings and not about the actual All-Star game itself.
Well, our comments are just flooding in here, guys. We certainly appreciate it. You can also comment if you're one of the other 50 people already on the first question who are watching us live. I won't put the hat on and make you guys go through all that again. But yes, love the kids. Suarez should have been there. He is agreeing with you. And the last comment that we've got right here is along with Sanchez. Absolutely. So let's move on to our second question. Nick Castellanos of the Phillies. Of course, we were talking about both Sanchez and Suarez. Both of those guys are from the Phillies. So Nick Castellanos, of course, had to speak up. And he said, "It's turning into the Savannah Bananas." That was his quote. And then Trey Turner used a really bad word that rhymes with duck. But he said it's a joke. So knowing all of that and what these players have said, Cheese, do you think that the All-Star game really means as much as maybe we think it does, or does it mean more than we think it does to the players still?
I think it means less than it used to because of all this. As a kid, the All-Star game was it's such a big deal. You wanted to watch it, all the best players. Plus, like when I was a kid, like Randy Johnson facing hitters he never got to face because the AL didn't used to play the NL, you know? Mm-hmm. It was magical. Like it was just like the game you had to watch. So it has lost a lot, in my opinion. And Nick Castellanos, he's never been shy. Let's just say that. Don't always agree with everything he says, but I completely agree with him. It's not the same. And he makes a good point.
So I've got a few kind of rapid fire questions, and then I've got a really good question. I think we're going to wrap this first question up here in our MLB 4-pitch talk with, and that is, does this controversy make Dave Roberts not use Jacob Misiorowski in this All-Star game? What do you think about that?
He has to use him. If he doesn't use him, what's the point? Like MLB is probably going to order him to use him. I mean, he hasn't pitched yet that I've seen, but if you don't play him, then what's the point? But
that's very true. But all at the same time, if the players think he doesn't deserve to be there, then will Dave Roberts? I mean, Dave Roberts is more of an old school guy. It's kind of what I'm getting at here. So would Dave Roberts side with the players and say, you know what, boys, he doesn't deserve to be here? There's always a pitcher that they leave towards the end just in case it, goes into extras or something like that, and they need a pitcher that has some length. He would be a guy who has, been a starting pitcher and can do that for them. So I just wonder how Dave Roberts is viewing this and, how all that's going to kind of shake down before the game is done. So that was kind of my first rapid fire one. Maybe, what do you think? You think maybe Dave Roberts uses him in order to prove people wrong? He comes in, does a really good inning. People are like, oh, well, okay, he struck out the side, or he got 2 of the 3 or something like that. Maybe that's the strategy that Dave Roberts uses.
Cal Riley and Vlad Guerrero Jr. are going off right now.
Oh, yeah?
So, back-to-back hits. So, Dave Roberts, hit Pete Armstrong ninth in this lineup, so I wouldn't trust his judgment. That's pretty stupid. Of course, what did PCA do? He doubled, but no one was on base. You'd hit him in the middle of the order, might have gotten more runs. So
True. Now, I don't know if I'd have hit him in the middle of the order, but I certainly wouldn't have put him down in the order. I'd have probably 2 or 3.
ninth. He's the second best odds to win the MVP. Second best odds to win the MVP, and he's hitting ninth. Is terrible. But you make a good point. Dave Roberts, he has to do one or the other. He either has to play him. If he was going to play him, he should have played him very early and get it over with.
I agree.
But he has not played him early. So if he plays him like in the 7th inning, it's just going to be bad. But I kind of hope what you said. I kind of hope he doesn't play him for the players. But, Dave Roberts saying,
I'm going to predict. I mean, I didn't, obviously I'm not watching the game because I had the television behind me. But when we first started this thing a long, long time ago, YouTube and all these, if we would play the All-Star game in the background right now, they would ban us in a heartbeat and would take our stuff down because we're doing copyrighted stuff. So I decided to put the old logo on the screen instead. We put our new logo right up there, right above Cheese's head there in the top right-hand corner. Tell me if you like that. The other side, buddy. Other right. Tell me if you like that new. There you go. Tell me if you like that new logo up there in that corner, and we will continue to go with some different things here. That was done by one of my buddies at work, so I appreciate him doing that for us. Next question for you. Do you think this was, he was an add-in, right? He was not voted in. He was not selected in the very beginning. This was a late addition add-on, was Jacob Mezorowski. So was this done to purposely focus more attention on the game, you think?
Yeah. There's no other reason to do it. He doesn't, 33 innings, he doesn't have the, workload. He's just an exciting prospect, exciting player, and this is all about trying to get more people watching the All-Star game, which is sad they need to do it, and it's pathetic, and it tarnishes the game. And Castellanos is on the Phillies, and there are 2 Phillies pitchers that we mentioned, Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, that deserve it way more. They have better ERA than Mizorowski. What is his name?
Mizorowski.
I don't even know.
Yep, that's right. You're close enough, sir.
Yeah. So I'm definitely not a Brewers fan. So
right.
But it's just not good for the game because every year there's at least 4, maybe 6, 7 guys that deserve it that don't go, and they may never get a shot again. So it's just not a good look for baseball.
And we talked about maybe doing snubs last week, but you and I kind of talked about it off air and text message and stuff back and forth. But I saw every other talk show doing it, and it's like, man, well, I don't want to be like every other talk show. So we did some different things, and now we're doing this. I will say that I think that baseball gets what they paid for. They get what they deserve. Last year, you remember some guy named Paul Skeens. He was the best thing since sliced bread last year. And from what I could find, I couldn't get an exact number on it, but I'm pretty sure that in the major leagues, he only had 27 1/3 innings last year, and they allowed him to be the opening day starter last year. So, everybody's going all crazy about Mezorowski, but I was going all crazy last year on this same show that not only Paul Skeens should not have made the All-Star team, but he darn sure shouldn't have been the starter in the All-Star game.
I agree.
I don't think he should have been the starter in this one. I really think Zach Wheeler should have been the All-Star in this game. I thought he deserved it for the Phillies more than anybody else. But here's what I want to wrap everything up with, and I think this will be an interesting kind of closing argument for this. It's almost like a courtroom drama here. We're going to do a closing argument with it. Should MLB put innings on pitchers and game limits on hitters in order to be eligible for the All-Star game? Should we do something like you have to have 50 innings, or the first part of the year is usually around 80 to 90 games, right? So you say, all right, they have to play in at least 50, 55 games in order to be eligible for the All-Star game.
Pitchers for sure. I think 50 innings, maybe even 55, to be honest with you. 50 is not even that much. So I think for starters, obviously not relievers, for starters, 55, maybe even 60 innings. Hitters, yes, unless they're voted in. Because the fans chose Ronald Acuna Jr. They chose him. So if you're voted in as a starter, then yes. But otherwise, they should do that. I think it would, but they're not. It would be better, but they're not going to, because it's all about ratings and getting as many people to watch as possible. Mizorowski's gonna supposedly bring more people, I guess, but if he doesn't pitch, it's going to piss those people off. So
that's true. I'm actually looking up to see how many games Ronald Acuna played.
He wasn't a top 3 guy at first, and just he was hitting so well. He just gradually moved up, got more and more votes, and yeah, I voted for him. I'm not going to lie, I voted for him. He's such a great player.
Yeah, see, you're part of the problem, buddy. You're part of the problem over here.
I'm a huge fan of his, so I'm not gonna...
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I guess I could look it up at a couple other spots, but I tried to look it up here on the MLB real quick because I had MLB pulled up for a couple other things we're going to do here in a few moments. But I couldn't find it right away. But I know he was hurt for a good while, and depending on what it is, I mean, Ketel Marte was injured in the very beginning of the season, missed around 3 to 4 weeks. So, you may not even have the guy who is the potential MVP in there if you put limits on players. So, but he was, like you said, he was voted in as the starter. So I guess your rule would say unless you're voted in as a starter, so that wouldn't count for you. But a couple interesting things that I wanted to take a look at here. Let's take this banner off the screen here for just a moment. Let's hide this one, and then we'll put a banner up here in a moment for the next category we get into. But this one's kind of interesting, I thought. So Yankees GM Brian Cashman was asked earlier this week about the trade deadline. Actually, he was asked last week. I take that back. He was asked last week about the trade deadline, and his quote was, "We are prepared to, quote unquote, go to town." Give me what you think he's talking about. What's go to town? Is he going to trade town? Is he going to, we'll just shell out all kinds of money town? What's Brian Cashman talking about, you think, with the Yankees when he uses the words that they're getting ready to go to town at the trade deadline?
What he means is the Yankees have a very good team with a few holes in the roster, and we're going to fill those holes, third base and pitching. That's what he means by that. And they have a pretty good farm system, better than most contenders. So they're going to go after those weaknesses. And he is not happy that he's in second place in the East at the All-Star break. I guarantee you.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of his fans aren't happy. I'm sure the front office isn't very happy. Yeah. But Toronto has played well. We talked about this a little last week. If you want to, that's right. If you want to get more about that, we certainly talked about it last week on this very show. You can look that up on YouTube. It is at the 643 and Out Pod there. You can find it right on YouTube. Cheese, if I gave you the over and under on the Yankees adding 5 players at the trade deadline, would you take the over or the under on 5?
I don't think they need 5, but I think 3 or 4 for sure. If it was 4, I'd definitely take over 3, but I think 3 or 4 guys is probably about right for the Yankees.
All right, everybody that's out there with us, there's over 65 people with us right now, live right now on the Sportz Truth. You're watching myself, Mike Valentine, and Cheese Football with Cheese over on his YouTube channel. Tell us what you think, over or under 5. How many are the Yankees going to get when it comes to the trade deadline? We got a couple things coming in. Yankees need a real third baseman, yes, bullpen depth, and some starters. Let me throw a name out there that I talked about earlier. Already has 31 home runs in the show and is on a team that is probably going to sell. I hope they're going to sell, and I'm actually going to talk about it later on next week when I start taking over the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast there. I'm banking Eugenio Suarez is going to be up for grabs for third base. and we'll get some other stuff here as some.
He's going to have a market. He will.
Yes, he will have a big market
if they sell.
If
they also
sell.
have an outfield surplus they might want to trade from. They have, a couple of starters that are expiring. They have a lot of expiring contracts. So honestly, I agree with you. This is the year to sell. The division is so tough. They're in 4th place. Sell this year. Go for it next year.
Yeah, they've had so many injuries. They can honestly just blame it on the injuries, and it doesn't really cost anybody any jobs or anything like that. It's not like they've had, poor play or anything. Their offense is fantastic. They just have, I believe, 14 or 15 people on the IL right now. So what do you think about that from South County Splat? Want to drum up some interest with the All-Star game? Position player, pitcher, randomly chosen by a kid pulling a name out of a hat. I don't know if I want random stuff, but
no.
Okay.
Nothing hurting the Diamondbacks. Zach Gallen. What happened? What happened to him?
He's been better in his last 2 or 3 starts. James McCann has come in. They've got a different catcher now, and not to get real analytically with anybody right at the moment because we got a lot of stuff to get to here, so I don't want to dive deep into all of this. But he is beginning to throw his changeup in a different spot. I don't think he trusted it until James McCann came in, and he has got him to do that. If you take a look at his analytics, and it's a little interesting how it all works out. Sometimes just one pitch not only just gets that pitch going, but gets some other pitches going for a pitcher, and he's able to then jump over that hump. And then, of course, our buddy JC here says the Snakes are selling, and Suarez could get a decent haul. I think so too. I think if they go to trade, and like I said, they've got several players that they can trade. So I think right along with you that they will get a pretty good haul. So let's go ahead and do this. We will do NL for our 3rd pitch of 4-pitch talk, and then we'll do NL for the 4th of the 4-pitch talk, picking MLB division winners and which ones to bet on. So let's do this part here first. We're going to do this from Yahoo. I have everything pulled up here for us. We are going to first look at the American League East. So let me get to American League. I got to click on the right button. I was looking at the National League right before we came on the air here, just to kind of make sure that I had everything where I wanted them. So the question, sir, is who wins the AL East? You've got Baltimore, Boston, New York, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. I see the comments. I'll get to them here in just a second. Let me set this up for Cheese, and then I'll start looking at everything else. Toronto is currently 55-41. The Yankees are in 2nd place at 53-43. The Boston Red Sox are in 3rd place after a 10-game winning streak at 53-45. Tampa Bay is right there at 50-47. And Baltimore is in last place, which no one would have thought at the beginning of this season, including myself. And they are at 43-52. So let's answer the first question. Cheese, who's going to win the American League East?
Well, I'll say this. Tampa has completely collapsed over the last couple of weeks. They were in 2nd place for a while. They were looking like, we're going to compete in the division. They have collapsed. And Boston's done the opposite. They've won 10 straight. They're only 3 games out. Boston, that's crazy. But I think it's going to come down to Toronto and New York. And I'm a Blue Jays believer. I think the Blue Jays, they have a lot of good players. I'm just looking at the roster. They had so many players that got off to bad starts that are playing well now. So I'm taking Toronto to win the division, despite the Yankees probably making huge trades. Toronto will make some trades too, probably.
That's the thing. We don't know, and that's kind of why this is kind of a fun exercise to do this week, before everybody starts making trades, because I'm going to bank there's going to be at least 1 or 2 trades even before we start back up again, because I really think that there are several, especially in the American League, there are several teams that are kind of in that no man's land where they're not sure where to go. The National League is a lot better league this year, in my opinion, overall than the American League. So both of these will be interesting for different things. And I really think there's going to be a pretty big move probably before the weekend is over. I'll say before Monday. Well, I'll say it this way. Before our next podcast. How about that? I'll delay it a couple more days. But before our next podcast, 1 week from tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Let's see. No, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. for you, right? She's in Texas.
So you are actually Pacific time until the fall. Arizona's weird. So I'm actually 8 o'clock.
All right. And then, of course, on the East Coast, it starts at 6.
9.
So now that we've got those times established.
No, East Coast 9, 6 your time.
9? Did I go
Is
backwards?
9.
You know what?
So,
just forget.
So Arizona doesn't change their time. So once we get to the fall,
right,
it'll only be an hour behind Central. It's
it's weird because you're right.
I agree with you.
We never change our time. Yeah. I like never changing time, to be honest.
I agree with them. Yeah, it's smart.
I think it is. I mean, the only reason we ever started changing time anyway was because of the farmers. And to be honest, there's so much building going on out here in Arizona. We don't have any farmers hardly anymore. So that's why we don't need to change times. But yeah, so Toronto, New York, Boston, Tampa Bay, Baltimore. So I'm going to give you my prediction here as well. Baltimore definitely can't come back.
No chance.
Yeah, they're 11.5 games out. Tampa Bay is only 5.5 out. Boston's 3, as you mentioned earlier. The Yankees are 2 games out. And Toronto is, of course, they're at everything. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. What did I do with that?
Cheating is allowed.
Cheating is allowed. Well, I hope so, because I'm about to do it. Oh, yeah, right there.
Yeah, I predict the Eagles will win the Super Bowl this past year. There you go. I cheated.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. So going from 1 to 30, all right, I've also got strength of schedule in here. So Baltimore actually has the 9th strength of schedule. So they have the best one in that league. Toronto is at 11. Tampa Bay's at 19. The Yankees are at 20. And the Boston Red Sox, oh, wow. The Boston, you know what? Here we go. I'm going to go out on a limb. The Boston Red Sox have the easiest remaining, the hardest hole. I looked at, boy, I'm just messing this whole show up today, man. You want to switch me sides for the day, brother? I'm just. So Boston actually has the hardest remaining schedule out of any team in the league.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I read it right now. Oh man, I'm hurting. This is killing me right now. So yeah, I don't want to, but I'm going to go with the Yankees because I really do. I think they're going to go out and buy whatever they need to buy, and they're going to make it to where they end up winning that division. And it's just going to be a romp. So I mean, I hope not. But that's what I'm going to predict. Well, now, we also said here, as I go back to the graphic, we're going to do winners and losers and pick which ones to bet on. So Toronto is plus 2,000. The Yankees are plus 750. Boston's plus 3,500, as well as Tampa Bay. And the Baltimore Orioles are plus 25,000. So Vegas doesn't think they can come back either.
Oh, they're pitching.
So you've got 2 teams, Boston and Tampa Bay at 3,500, the Yankees at 750, and Toronto at 2,000. If I'm gonna be a betting guy, I guess Tampa Bay's only 5.5 games out, and they're at plus 3,500. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay. What about you, Cheese?
Toronto, betting Toronto. I can't bet.
You're gonna bet on Toronto too. Well, you're just.
Well, Tampa Bay's 5.5 out, right?
Yes.
But they're also in 4th place. So to win the division, they have to pass 3 teams. So yes. I'll bet Toronto. My friend Fries, he lives in Canada. We call him Fries. That's his nickname. We all have weird nicknames.
Yeah, y'all have food nicknames. Is there a reason for that? Are you guys just a bunch of foodies up there or what?
No, that's look, my friend in Washington, we call him Bully. So everyone's
Okay,
got their
well,
nickname. My friend Ohio, he's Trucker. So, because he's a trucker. He's a truck driver. So that's his nickname.
all right. Well, I guess that does make some sense.
But Toronto, I just think Tampa, they'd have to pass 3 teams to win. So I think it's just such a tough division.
Gotcha. All right, buddy. Not a problem. So, yes, let's move on to the AL Central, and then I'll take care of the side there in just a second, sir. As soon as I'm done with this here, let's set up the AL Central. There's not a whole lot of setting up to do here. Detroit's 59-38. The next closest team is Minnesota, who everybody thinks is going to be sellers here in just a little bit, and they're 11.5 games out. Kansas City is 12. Cleveland's also 12. And the White Sox, I know they're back there somewhere. They're at 27 games out.
Oh.
Yeah. So the White Sox are 27 games out of first place. Cheese, let's do the easy one. If we were talking basketball here, this would be a layup. Which team here in this AL Central do you think is going to win?
Detroit Tigers. I don't need to get an explanation.
You don't need an explanation, huh?
Yeah, I think this is the biggest slam dunk. You said layup. That's a slam dunk.
That's a slam dunk right there. Okay, you can use your own basketball term in the baseball segment, sir. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I don't think there's any way any of these teams. I think this is the one division that we can pretty much say is actually pretty much already wrapped up, and it of course is the All-Star break. I would give Kansas City maybe a slight shot, just because I like the way that team is built. Has the supermarket crew? I don't know what that
fries, cheese.
Okay, gotcha. Now I get it. Okay, now I get it.
AL Central, a joke. Well, Detroit's not a joke. It's funny. Detroit has the best record in the American League by far, and they've lost 4 straight going into the break. That's how good they are. They're loaded.
Mm-hmm. They only have, they're not like knocking the doors off of anything, right? They're 5-5 in their last 10. They've only got a plus 87 run differential. But the problem is everybody else in that division has a negative run differential. So when you're in a division where nobody else can score, it's not that hard to actually put it all together and see how it's going to happen there. So Minnesota has a -8. Kansas City's got a -28. Cleveland has a -45, and these are all run differentials. And the White Sox have a -98. As far as betting odds here go, Detroit plus 650, Minnesota's plus 8,000, Kansas City's 10,000, Cleveland's 15,000. and you know what? Take a flyer on the White Sox. Why not?
Billion.
Yes, they are at 200,000. So they are plus 200,000.
2 million?
Yeah, they may as well be. So I would take a flyer on Kansas City probably with their 10,000 plus. Are you going to go anywhere else but Detroit, Cheese, for the actual betting odds?
Detroit. Yeah. No,
okay, so you're going to stay with Detroit.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Yeah. It's over. The division's
White
over.
Sox have at least a future, sure, in like 10 years. And
not even.
It's not good, but it's a future. That's of course true. Not a problem there. All right, let's move on to the last team in the American League, because I have to kind of keep switching. Mice. I don't know which one it is, but I'm looking at 2 different things here. So we've got Houston in first place, 56-40. You got Seattle 5 games back at 51-45. Texas is at 48-49, 1 game under, and 8.5 back. The Angels are 2 games under at 47-49 and 9 games back. And the Oakland Athletics are pulling up the rear here at 41-57, and they are 16 games back. This is a little bit of an interesting division. I'll give you a few other stats on this division here in a moment, but I'm gonna let you kind of chime in here, buddy. Houston, Seattle, Texas, the Angels, or the Athletics? Who are you going to choose to win the American League West?
Well, the Athletics and Angels aren't very good. They're not winning it. Texas has been a disappointment. They have a lot of hitters that are having down years. They don't score enough, and that's their biggest problem. In the past, their problem has been pitching, but they just don't score enough runs. So I absolutely going with the Astros. The Mariners are that team that's always like good, but not good enough. They're always going to win 85 to 89 games, but that's it. So, and the Astros have been doing it for most of the year without Yordan Alvarez. Really impressive. So I think Astros are 5 up. Yeah, I think they win the division.
Okay. Yeah, the Astros are 5 up. It's a weird division because I look at a lot of different things. Like I look at their away statistics, and I also look at run differential. And 3 of the 5 teams in this division have a positive run differential, which surprised me. And Houston has the best one at plus 56. Texas actually has the next best one at plus 47, and then Seattle, who pitches well but it's not a great hitting team, is at plus 32.
Seattle actually scored the most runs in the division. Actually, they actually have the best offense in the division. Believe it or not, their pitching actually the biggest problem with the Mariners pitching's been a little disappointing.
You're right. Actually,
going into the season, you thought their pitching was so deep, so loaded, but it's been a little disappointing.
Yeah, it's been that way for the last few years, but all of a sudden their hitting is coming around. I guess some of those trades that they are making and things like that are starting to pay off. So
Cal Riley's just killing it. He's just unbelievable.
Well, yeah. So, we talked about that last week. So, I'll still hold true to what I said last week. All of a sudden, he not only has all these home runs, but now he won the home run derby. So, there's that. But
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just if you don't know what I'm talking about, look at last week's show, and there was
we'll just leave it
I made I made a little poignant comment. So we'll see what happens there. So as far as gambling goes, and I'm going to take Houston with you. I really don't want to because of some of the stuff they've done in the past. I don't like the teams that taint our sport. But if I'm really going to say what team I think is going to win, which is what the whole title of this segment is and what we're doing, I would have to go with Houston. As far as a betting guy, it's Houston's plus 1,000, Seattle's plus 3,000, Texas is 6,600. The Angels are plus 40,000, and the Athletics are plus 50,000. Here we go. As much as I'd love to go with a shot in the dark at the Angels plus 40,000, 1,000 is not enough for me to even put anything down, and 3,000 is probably not really enough to be plus for me to put anything on it. So if I had to pick one of these teams, I guess I would go with Texas since they're plus 6,600. What do you think about the plus and minuses there as far as the betting lines go on who will win the?
I'm still taking Houston because I just don't see them losing that division. The roster's just too good, and I think they're going to add a left-handed bat. That's their biggest weakness. I think they'll add one at the deadline. Their bullpen, the back end of the bullpen, Houston is terrific. I have gone to see them a few times this year. I love their ballpark, by the way. If you've never been, it used to be called Minute Maid. Now it's called Dakin. Yeah. But if you've never been there, it's one of the most fan-friendly ballparks out there. And their bullpen, the back end of the bullpen is terrific. So, Houston is my bet.
And I've been there. You're 100% right. I was there when it was Minute Maid as well. But one great ballpark. One of these days, maybe I'll share the story of the autograph that I got there from the visiting team from the same hometown as I live in right now in Arizona here. So maybe I'll share that story sometime. Not right at the moment because, again, we got a lot of stuff to get to here. We're not even done with the first segment yet, and we've been on for 48 minutes. So we're gonna push this and not tell any stories right at the moment. The National League East, sir, Philadelphia, 55-41. The New York Mets are a half game back at 55-42. Miami is 10 games back at 44-51. Atlanta is all the way back 12.5 behind Philadelphia, 42-53. Washington's 38-58 in the bottom. Also, as we're talking about all of these teams, next week we're going to look at wild card standings too and try to predict who we think those wild card teams are going to be at the break as well. So that'll be next week here on the Sportz Truth. What do you think about Philadelphia, New York, Miami, Atlanta, or Washington, Chiefs? Who's going to win the National League East?
It's either Phillies or Mets. Clearly. No, the other 3 teams stink. They just stink. I'm going to go with the Phillies because I think they're going to be the most aggressive at the deadline. that's the toughest one for me. Is the East, predicting the East. So I just think the Phillies are going to be the most aggressive, maybe the most aggressive team of anyone at the deadline. So I'll take them to beat the Mets. Very close.
I would love to jump on like a Miami Marlins bandwagon or something like that, but I just can't, especially when I look up strength of schedule right now and see that the Miami Marlins have the fourth hardest strength of schedule. Philadelphia comes in at 14, Atlanta at 17, and let's see who's the other one there in that division. Who else we got? Oh, Washington, number 8. So not a lot of teams in that division have a real strong schedule, including the front runners. So you almost got to stay with them. The front runners being, of course, the Philadelphia Phillies. So I'm with you, and I think one of the big things they're going to do is they're going to go out and make sure they get a closer, since their closer is not only suspended but is ineligible for the postseason because of the PED use that he got caught for. So I think you're going to see them go out here at this trade deadline and get themselves a closer, which will solidify that team and make them the front runners to win the National League East. Philadelphia's plus 800. The Mets are plus 11. Miami's plus 50,000. Atlanta is plus 15,000, which is a little strange that they're in fourth place and plus 15,000. And then Washington's plus 50. So Washington and Miami are both plus 50. Atlanta's plus 15. The Mets are plus 1,100, and Philadelphia is 8. I mean, I guess just to get a little bit better return, and it's only a half game difference between the two right now, I'd probably go with the Mets. But, we'll see what happens there. What would you do, Cheese? Were you going to go Phillies or Mets? I assume it'd be one of those two.
Oh, if I was betting, I'd the Mets because the Phillies have a better odds. So if I was betting, yeah, I would bet the Mets.
So is this Bully or is this Fries or who? Which one's this?
That's
one?
Bully. That's Bully.
Well, that's Bully. It really is Bully.
That's Bully.
Okay, I was just messing with you, but that's okay.
That is Bully.
Right,
no, that's him.
Okay, let me get caught up on some of these here. I don't trust the Mets offense.
He loves Harry Potter.
He loves Harry Potter. All right, well, okay. I had a magic wand joke, but I won't. This is a family show, so I won't do that. So no, they need DH depth. And what about the Phillies series? Says Phillies need bullpen help. Yes, of course they do. That's what I was alluding to here just a second ago. But I do think they're going to go out and get that. So let's jump into the National League Central. Man, we love this baseball stuff. It seems to always go a little longer than what we think it's going to. We are almost done here. We got the Central and the West to go in the National League. The Cubs, your Cubs, I'll go ahead and say it for you. Your Chicago Cubs are at 57-39. The Brewers are 1 game back at 56-40. St. Louis is 6.5 games back. Cincinnati 7.5. Pittsburgh is 18.5. And just so we get everything out of the way, the betting lines: Cubs plus 1,200, Milwaukee at plus 3,000, St. Louis 8,000, 15,000 for the Reds, and 100,000 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So how about first, who's going to win the division, and then who you betting on? Give me both of them at the same time, buddy.
Okay, so you have the strength of schedule. Who has the easiest schedule left?
All right, hang on. Let me click on that. I have to go to a different screen, but that's fine. Let's see here. So the easiest schedule left of those teams, the Brewers have the 10th hardest schedule. So I'll start from hard and go to easy. Let's see, Brewers, and then St. Louis. And the Cubs, of course, have the easiest schedule. The Reds have the second hardest schedule, and the Pirates have a really easy schedule as well. They come 26 out of 30. Not that I think it's going to matter a whole lot, but the Reds have the second hardest schedule. And then Cubs, Pirates, and St. Louis are in the bottom 10 as far as, the easiest 10, if you want to say it that way, as far as the strength of schedule for the rest of the year. So I'm going to bank what you're going to do, and the team probably matches the color of the shirt there. Go ahead and tell us what it's going to be, buddy.
Yeah, I am a Cubs and Braves fan, but the Cubs are going to win this division. The schedule is the easiest, and just like I said with the Phillies, the Cubs are going to go for it. the biggest weakness with them, they're not in the top 20 in starting pitching ERA. So they need to go get starting pitching. They're going to do it. They need another setup guy or a closer, but they're going to do it. They have the farm system to do it. So I think the Cubs, I don't think they run away with it. Give the Brewers credit. I just want to say this about the Brewers, okay? Every year they seem to overachieve. Somehow the Brewers, they do it right, but they're not an aggressive team at the deadline. So I don't see them getting much better. I see the Cubs getting better. So I think the Cubs win somewhat comfortably, but, don't necessarily run away with it.
All right. So your buddy Bully is trying to bully people right now into hitting the like button. So, hit the likes and then hit the bell for notifications so you never miss one of my shows, right? That's the quote.
And if you're Diamondbacks fan, Locked On Diamondbacks, check it out.
Yes. But wait till next week, all right? Don't. No, I'm just kidding. Miller Thomas, who's actually the guy hosting it right now, he and I are really good friends. He's been on this show a few times, so we've got a really good relationship as well. So I'm not going to make fun of him whatsoever. At least not while he's still hosting the show. Anyway, so. Yeah, so I'm going to be with you as much as, I'm a Reds guy, so this kind of hurts me. And they're playing better. They're 6 games better right now than they were last year as far as the Reds go, so I like the improvement. If I'm going to bet on somebody here in this division, I would bet on Cincinnati because it's a 15,000, but as far as who's going to win the division, I think St. Louis will fall out of it. And I'm actually going to say, I really want to say Milwaukee's going to fall out of it, but I think that every year, and like you just said, Milwaukee just seems to overachieve. And I don't know if it's the analytics there, if it's the coaching staff there, but I have to throw this out there, Cheese, and I'm going to detour from just a second from our actual topic. But if you see it, I see it. I'm sure a lot of our fans out there see this that aren't really Brewers fans, like neither one of us are. If you were the Brewers front office, wouldn't you, when your team overachieves like that, shouldn't you want to reward the team for overachieving and say, hey, man, you guys have done fantastic. Now we're going to go out and get a few players for you. Let's make a run. Let's push this thing and see if we can get to the World Series. But they never do.
They did once. They tried once with CC Sabathia. They went out and got CC Sabathia, and they still lost in the postseason. So I think
that's been years ago.
I know, but that was the one time the Brewers actually went for it, but they still lost. But CC Sabathia was amazing for them. He wasn't the reason.
He was.
I just feel like if they give up their assets because they're a small market team, they don't spend in free agency, then that could set us back. It's just how they do business.
I guess we're going to have to talk about that sometime soon. I can't stand the term small market team.
What's the term?
I'll put it to you this way, Cheese, and here's the way I look at it, and we won't get too far off on this tangent, but no, ladies and gentlemen, all 90 of you who are with us live right at the moment, that this small market thing is a bunch of crap. Everybody has the same market as long as they win. Everybody wants to come and see a winner. So I believe if you win, your market is, I'm not going to say the exact same, but your market, what's happening?
Pete Alonso, solo homer.
So was it 3-0 now?
Well, it's 5-0, so I might have missed something.
You might have. It's.
I did. I've been doing this podcast, so I missed. It's 5-0.
I know it's a really interesting podcast too. So you got to keep your attention on me. I get it. I got this bright shirt on today and all that. So we gotta. Yes. All right. Let's do the last division here. The National League West. You've got the Dodgers at 58-39. San Diego is 5.5 games back at 52-44. San Francisco is 6 games back at 52-45. Arizona is 3 games under 500 and 11 games back at 47-50. And the Rockies are way back there. Man, I'm glad you're sitting down. Before I give you guys this stat, you should probably sit down. The Colorado Rockies are minus. So they have scored 336 runs, but they're still minus 253 in run differential. 253. They've allowed their opponents, by the way, if you don't understand what run differential is, they have allowed their opponents to score 253 more runs than they have. And for some strange reason, they're plus 200,000 In the betting department, the Arizona Diamondbacks are +9, San Francisco's +3, San Diego's +3,500, and the LA Dodgers are only +220. Who's going to win the division, and who would you put your money on, Cheese?
I'm rolling with the Rockies. Let's go. No, if the Rockies win out,
made me get tea all over my equipment here, man. Don't do that to me.
If the Rockies win out, win every game left, they still don't win 90 games. But going back to the Central, I would bet on the Cubs. Pick them to win. I also bet on them. Dodgers, I think, will win, and I'd bet on the Dodgers. I don't think that the Giants or the Padres will catch them. They've had let's be honest, the Dodgers have had a ton of injuries, and they're still 5.5 ahead. They're going to get healthy. So, yeah.
No, I agree with you. And actually, I mean, I wouldn't really touch any of these teams because, again, the Diamondbacks are going to sell as far as, I hope they do, in my opinion. And the other three are 3,000, plus 3,000, which isn't going to give me enough of a return. I'd go take a chance on one of those other teams up there somewhere else. But this is the one I'm going to go out on a limb for again. I trust Buster Posey, and I like what the Giants are doing. I don't really like Rafael Devers, which kind of gives me a little bit of angst as far as making this pick goes. But I really like what San Francisco's doing, and I think they've almost got an open check. They've got a lot of money out there too, and I don't think San Diego's going to do much of anything. Like I said, the Rockies aren't doing nothing, and I think the Diamondbacks are going to sell. So if all of that happens, the San Francisco Giants, this is their time. Their window is open. They've got Devers. They've got the guy in center field. They've got really good pitching staff, especially their starters. Why not? I would love to see them go for it, and I think they will. It'll be interesting to see if they can overtake the Dodgers if they spend a lot of money at the trade deadline. So that's what I'm going to go with, and we're going to kind of. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about that division or any of the other divisions?
Nope. I think we covered it. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, we got a lot to cover. So let's just
we have a ton to cover here. Former NFL quarterback turned high school football. There's no music, no nothing. We're just going to jump right into these. Former NFL quarterback turned high school football coach Teddy Bridgewater was suspended from Miami Northwestern, which is his alma mater, after providing quote unquote impermissible benefits to his players. Let me get the banner up here for this. Right there.
American League cannot hit.
Yeah, I see all of them. We'll get to those comments. You guys keep them rolling. I'll catch up on them as Cheese talks because, the only person that likes to talk more than Cheese does is me. So, we'll get to everything here, guys. What do you think about this whole, we're nailing people for things we're calling impermissible benefits here. Talk to me about those two words and what you think they mean. And then I've got actually 4 questions to follow up with here on this particular one. So we'll kind of breeze through these a little quickly.
Yeah. I mean, this is such a tough issue, but to give you an example, let's say Teddy Bridgewater, he's got a teenage son who plays football, and his best friend, after the game, they go get ice cream. He pays for his Baskin Robbins. That's technically a violation. That's crazy. Like something like that's a violation. Yeah, if you're paying them $20,000 to come to school, that's different. But it's so crazy. I don't know. I think this is the reason why college football went to paying the players, because of stuff like this. I just don't love it. Yeah. Corbin Carroll just hit a home run.
Oh, excellent. Corbin Carroll hits a homer. He's got a bad wrist and everything. He's still hitting homers. Excellent job. So I got some stuff to talk about next week. It's good. They're giving me good stuff to analyze and talk about next week. That's fantastic. So my first question here on this is: Bridgewater revealed in a Facebook post on July 7th that he paid for things like Uber rides and meals and their recovery services, which I assume was like massages and stuff like that. That's just kind of what I assume, recovery services are. I don't know. Maybe you have a different definition of what that is. Here's what I'm going to say about it, and then I'm going to get your take on it, which I think will probably be different than mine. But this is what I'm going to say. You don't need to brag about how good you are on social media, because sometimes it turns around and bites you in the butt. Go ahead, Cheese. What do you got?
Dumb. Don't press send. What did Herm Edwards always say? Don't press send. Just don't. So that was not smart.
Yeah. So then, he then, in the same post, turned around. I don't know how much our fans really know about all this. And again, I see all these comments over here. We'll get them in just a second. He then, in the same post, asked fans to donate. Now, why is Teddy Bridgewater asking fans to donate, even though in his career, in his entire NFL career, you ready for the number? He's been a backup pretty much all his life, right? And his NFL career, he has still made $74,770,899. And he's asking for fans like you and me. I don't even know. I don't know what that much money looks like. Never mind ever having that much money. And he's wanting me to donate to his team and help him pay for stuff when he's got quite a bit of money where he could do it himself. So one, what do you think about him asking people to donate? And two, do you think that was kind of the, I guess, to use an old man term, the straw that broke the camel's back as far as that part goes?
Well, I'll just say this. Bridgewater, poor judgment. I don't know who's advising him. He's just very poor judgment asking to donate at this point. I just don't understand it. He needs to just shut up and go away for a bit. Let this die down.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I just don't think it's like you said. Who is giving this guy advice, right? Who is telling him to do all of this stuff? Or is he one of these guys that just thinks like, I'm untouchable, I'm Teddy Bridgewater, and I can do whatever I want? Maybe that's what it is. Let me get to a couple of these comments over here because I can read them off screen, so can you. It's, I'll just let you read that one for yourself. And then we got another one here, mostly poor judgment, and also money could run out for him. If the money runs out for him, he's also not only has somebody who's telling him to do stupid things, but he's got somebody who's doing stupid stuff with his money. All right.
Unfortunately, it happens to some of these NFL players. It's crazy that it does.
It does. Certainly does. I know of more than one that it's happened to. Man, I want to throw this out there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much. You guys last week got us up over the 7,000 follower mark on X, Twitter, Twix, whatever the heck you want to call it now. Elon Musk's baby boy, I don't know. But you got us up over 7,000. So we follow over 7,000. And right now, the Sportz Truth podcast featuring the 643 and out guys, myself, Mike Valentine, and of course our good buddy Cheese over here. We are number one right now on all of the podcasts that are going on of all of the 7,000 people that we cover. So we thank you and we appreciate your support. We're almost to 100 people following us live. I'm sure we'll be there by the end of this segment. Here's the last thing on the Teddy Bridgewater part. No, I take that back. It's going to be the second to last thing. So Representative Kevin Richardson, I looked this stuff up, of the Florida High School Athletic Association, sent the Facebook post that Teddy Bridgewater put out to the Miami Northwestern High School, and Teddy has been suspended. He's not been fired. He's not been kicked out. He's been suspended. That's a much different word than fired, all right? So he's been suspended while the school was investigating. Cheese, my question to you is this. Don't they have to? I mean, they have to suspend him right now, right? They really don't have a choice.
Yeah, they don't have a choice. They have to. Whether you agree with it or not, it's the Facebook post. They have to. The complaints would be insane if they didn't. So technically what he did was wrong, so they have to. Right.
And it's the curse of the famous person, and it's not the curse of the famous person, right? If he was Cheese, even though his name is crazy, nobody'd be saying a word about Cheese down there in Florida doing all this stuff for his kids. They'd be like, it's just Cheese. We don't care about him. But because it's Teddy Bridgewater.
They'd be like, what is that handsome guy doing with all his money? That's what they'd be saying.
Well, I'm sure you're going to make tons of money off of football with cheese here before too long. You're going to get into monetization and everything. Man, big words. You're gonna start making money, okay, off of your YouTube channel before long and all that stuff. Especially when people go over and hit the bell for notifications and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, go ahead and give us the spiel. What should they do when they get to your channel?
They should subscribe and hit the bell, because
right.
Subscribing to my channel is better than not subscribing to my channel. So at football with cheese spelled CHEEZ. But
okay, so that's kind of like,
you're going to make money as Locked On Diamondbacks. Make sure you check out his channel.
We'll see what we can do here together. That's what the plan is, buddy. So so what you're saying is, kind of the team that scores the most points usually wins the game, right? Is that's what you're saying?
I have not seen that be wrong yet.
Okay. All right. Final thing here with the Teddy Bridgewater conversation, and then we are going to move on to how Texas views the matchup. Week 1, college football. Ohio State will host Texas.
Yes.
At the Horseshoe. There we go. I almost said the Big House. I got shot if I'd have said that. Being that I used to live in Ohio for a long time, I have been to that stadium before. Man, that place is rocking. But we'll talk about that next week when we talk about it from the Ohio State point of view. The First Academy in Florida was given a $36,000 fine and 2 years of postseason ban for players receiving free meals and Uber rides. And of course, being the Florida Academy, they're obviously in Florida. And then this Florida High School Athletic Association, the same one that gave this Facebook post to Miami Northwestern. It's going to be the only time these schools are ever going to get mentioned on any kind of podcast. So, and why don't we give them some shout outs here 3 or 4 times this segment? But they got something similar, $36,000 fine, 2 years of postseason ban for receiving free meals and Uber rides. 2-part question, Cheese. Should we be doing that? And shouldn't Teddy Bridgewater know that got done to them, and he doesn't want his team to get the same kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, he should know. It's a tricky situation. I go back to you can't even buy someone a pack of gum, or it's the same, or buy them something that costs like $50,000. Like you can't. Mm-hmm. It's a mess, but you can't let them just start buying, because any high school will start trying to get any rich NFL player to coach them, and just start giving all these benefits. All of a sudden you get all these people switching high schools. So yeah, Bridgewater, he really screwed up, and it's just a mess.
Now, I do want to add this. This is the caveat that I kind of want to end this with before we go to week 1, Ohio State, Texas. And that's this. He can do it, but he can't do it and be employed by the organization. So he can't be the coach and buy everything. And he's even said, he went on in one of the Facebook posts that he responded to, the one on July 7th, and basically said, well, then fine, I'll just sit in the stands and be a donor. Great. Sit in the stands and be a donor. It's no different than people that give NIL money and stuff to these colleges. You won't get in any trouble for that, Teddy. Again, I don't understand why people aren't giving you this kind of advice. So, maybe not be the coach and donate the money, or be the coach and keep your money in your pocket. Those are kind of your 2 choices, but you can't mix the 2. And that's the problem with everything. And that's why we brought it up today here on the Sportz Truth. Week 1 has Ohio State hosting Texas, and we're going to look at everything from the Texas standpoint. Cheese, how much pressure is on Arch Manning week 1 at Ohio State?
I don't know. Arch Manning, here's the thing with Arch Manning. He should have been the quarterback last year. He should have been the quarterback all year. He's better than Quinn Ewers. He's a lot better. And there shouldn't be a lot of pressure. He should have started the whole year. Might have gone differently for Texas. But a lot is expected of him because of who he is. So I think this game is going to be amazing. I'm so looking forward to it. But I don't think if Arch has like this, doesn't play like great, I think he'll be fine, because there's a lot of games left. But I'm so we need more, let's put it this way. We need more games like this early on in the college season.
All right. Yes, I'll get kind of that in a moment. But how about the second question? And this goes along with JC's comment, though. He says Arch has the Manning name. So, yeah, the pressure is there. So I'm going to kind of combine that with the question that I'd already put out there, which is, does the Manning name still mean something? And if so, Cheese, what does it mean?
No, it does.
By the way, we do have 100 viewers right now. So we're yes, it didn't even take the rest of the segment. We're already there, buddy.
Yeah, it absolutely is huge. Obviously, here's the thing with Arch. He is Cooper's son, not Eli or Peyton. Cooper, for people who don't know, is the Manning son that was a wide receiver, more athletic. Okay. He had some kind of medical condition, so he had to retire from football. But Arch is way more athletic than Peyton or Eli. I just want to throw it out there. He is really mobile, and he actually has a bigger arm than both of them. Do I think he'll be good as Peyton? Well, not many people are. I'm not saying that, but Arch has a really high ceiling. And when you hear that name, it's, you think quarterbacks. You think Hall of Fame quarterbacks. So, yeah, it's a big deal.
Okay. And, of course, our buddy JC there says, yes, he's talking about the Manning name. Eli tried to get ownership for the Giants. Peyton still has influence. And even Cooper, the forgotten brother, still has a name. So, yes. And one last comment here from him. There you go for that as I ask the next to the last question. Texas returns 15 starters from last year. Starters, not players, starters from last year. 9 on offense, 6 on defense. 11 Longhorns were actually taken in the 2024 drafts. So does this mean, based on all that information I just gave you, that Texas has the best overall team in college football?
Not necessarily. Here's the thing with Texas. To me, they lost a lot. They lost some key offensive linemen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kelvin Banks, Cameron Williams, both tackles. Okay. Cameron Williams should have come back because he got destroyed in that Ohio State game on that strip fumble by Jack Sawyer.
Yep.
Very talented kid, could have been left tackle this year. He came out thinking he was a second, third round pick, ended up being a 6th round pick. Really dumb move. Matthew Golden, Jade Barron, Alfred Collins, Barron, Sorrell, Andrew Makuba. They lost a lot. They upgraded quarterback by Quentin Ewers getting the heck out of the building. But I just don't see a ton of studs for Texas. I mean, you have Arch, you have Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker, you have Malik Muhammad at corner. But I can't think of another. Now, I might be missing something. If you're a Texas fan, let us know in the comments. But I can't think of another absolute stud. And I think the offensive line is not going to be as good. So I wouldn't necessarily say that. And real quick, I just want to say this. The team that I think could be a sleeper, maybe not because, they're expected to probably win the ACC anyway, but Clemson is loaded. Clemson is absolutely loaded. If you look at the last 2 years, the team with the most pro talent, the team with the most players drafted 2 years ago was Michigan. They won the national title.
Okay.
And actually Washington was second. They finished runner-up. Last year, the team that the most players drafted was Ohio State, won the national title. Clemson's probably the team that's going to have the most players drafted next year. That's how loaded they are. So Oregon's going to be really good too. What? Yeah,
you're saying there's a theme, right?
I don't know if Clemson. I don't know because in the ACC if they're as good as Ohio State or Texas or Oregon or teams like that. But Clemson's loaded for next year's draft. Just watching the film, and don't count out LSU and Penn State. They both should be very good.
Okay. Let's see here. Where did I do? Oh, we're going to get to that here in just a moment. Yes. So you have a thing out right now as we're talking about, you talked about Sawyer. Sawyer went to Pittsburgh. Man, I'm a big Ohio State guy, but I can't stand Pittsburgh. I was so bummed when I saw them take him. I understood why they did it. Something going on in the All-Star game.
Three-run homer, Brent Rooker, Oakland Athletics, 6-3.
Ooh.
National League still leads.
3.
Brent Rooker, underrated player, really good player for the Athletics.
I think he's going to go to a different team. I'm crossing my fingers. I hope it's my Reds, man. I really do. I think that'd make all the difference in the world with them. But the crossing my fingers is probably about as close as I'm going to get. But we still got them crossed, all right? So you've got a YouTube video out right now. You released it 3 days ago. I just put it up on our account over at the 643 and Out Pod. Who are the top positional units in the NFL? You mentioned Sawyer in that. And then you also mentioned a couple of other things that we'll get to once we get to our actual NFL talk here. You, sir, gave me insight for next week's top 10 or truth top 10 poll question. And I can't wait to see your reaction when you figure out what it's going to be here. It'll be great to see. So you guys stay tuned for that. But also when this is all said and done, you can go to our channel, which is at the 643 and Out Pod. You can go over to Cheese's YouTube channel at Football with Cheese. And of course, that is CHEEZ. And you can see that video as well. And he has a new one out. We'll talk about that one here shortly as well. So we've got all this stuff put together, all these guys returning. You said it's not necessarily showing that Texas is the best team overall. So then here's how we're going to wrap up this conversation from the Texas point of view. And again, we'll look at it from the Ohio State point of view next week. All three of my friends can join and listen to that because, you big Ohio State guy, used to live in a town right outside of Cincinnati, not too far away from Columbus. So if Texas loses to Ohio State, can they still make the college football playoffs?
Yes.
So you're giving Texas fans, so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I mean, SEC will be tough, but absolutely. There's 12 teams now. When it was 4, probably not. I don't know if you remember 2 years ago. I got to bring this up. It was Michigan, it was Washington, Alabama. I'm trying to remember the 4th team, but Georgia finished 5th. And I wanted to see Michigan, Georgia that year because I thought they were the 2 best teams and they never met. But now with the 12 teams, absolutely Texas can still make it.
All right. Now let me get caught up here on a couple of these before we jump to our next topic, which is still going to be college football. Going to go to BYU for a moment. Give the Longhorns false hope. Oh boy, he even says horns down. So
they lost I think they lost at least 3 starting offensive line. Both tackles, Jake Majors, the center, a very good center. He's gone. And they had a guard drafted. So I just worry about the offensive line. I'm sure they have talent, but it's inexperienced.
And I think that's a really good – there's a couple of really good things about having a game like this early, right? People like you and I who – especially you who analyze this stuff for a living basically, who love to do it and put this out for all the universe to see – we love to watch stuff like this because we're not real sure what's going to happen early on, right? We think we know, but we're not 100% sure. And then as you just said, even if obviously one of these teams is going to lose, and the one that does lose, because this game is so early in the season, they can still bounce back, make the college football playoff. And if you're going to schedule these games like this, wouldn't you schedule them in the very beginning? And I don't understand why more teams don't do it. But we'll conquer that one here probably in a week or 2. Let's take that off. Let's put our names back up there, even though everybody knows who Cheese is. And we'll ask this. With Jake Resloff now withdrawing from BYU, they again have a quarterback competition. And I want to get up here and make sure that, I'm getting old man eyes up here. So I write all this stuff out over here, and I want to make sure I do this. So I want to talk about quarterback battles here for a moment, and I want to get your opinion on whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So the previous 5 years with the quarterback for week 1, that was not chosen until the end of the fall camp, which we're getting ready to have. Here's what they did. 2006, they were 9-4, points at a bowl victory. In 2018, they were 7-6 with the famous Idaho Bowl victory. 2020, they went 11-1. Very good season for BYU. Boca Raton Bowl victory. They were number 11 in the final rankings. 2021, they went 10-3, another good year. Independence Bowl, even though they lost, and they were ranked 19th in the final rankings. 2024, they went 11-2. They went to the Alamo Bowl and won it. And again, were the number 13 in the final rankings. And when they opened the year with an established starter, Chiefs, in 2007, they did it. They went 4-9 in no bowl games. In 2019, they did it 7-6 and lost in the Hawaii Bowl. 2022, they went 8-5 and they won the New Mexico Bowl. And in 2023, they actually went 5-7 and again had no bowl game. So here's my kind of crazy question to you after I've set all that up. Is a team in better shape knowing the starting quarterback before camp?
Yeah.
After all that I just threw at you, You're still going to say yes.
I understand that BYU, they seem to be different, but I'll say this. If you have, for example, the term is if you have three, you have none. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. If you have three quarterbacks competing for one job, then you don't have a quarterback because one guy should just stand out. When you have a guy that's established, he's clearly the best, that's better. Now, obviously BYU's record says otherwise, but they could be an outlier. I want a guy that's just the guy, the man, and not two or three guys. Well, we hope one plays good enough to be the guy.
Yeah, and I took a break from it this week. We're going to jump into our NFL stuff here in just a moment. We didn't do the quarterback rankings, and the way we're doing it's a little bit different. We're looking at quarterback, backup quarterback, stuff like that, and saying, all right, what's the best quarterback room per se? So you're not looking at that in college. You're saying one guy needs to stand out. And then if you're saying that, Cheese, and that one guy that stands out gets hurt, don't you need to have a pretty good backup quarterback? You said last week, that there's usually a week or two to where every team needs their backup quarterback, yet you don't want there to be an open competition?
It's more common in the NFL, longer season. Most starters don't play every game. It's more common in college that they do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, competition can bring out the best in players, but I want a guy that's the guy. I want a really good quarterback in college that's better than everyone else, because in college football, if you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to do anything.
You can kind of say that in the NFL too, right? I mean, if you don't have a quarterback, you're not doing a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, Rex Grossman went to the Super Bowl. Mark Sanchez went to AFC title game. So I think you can somehow sneak in there a little bit close if you don't have a quarterback in the NFL, but you can't do it in college. You have to have a quarterback in college.
I think I'll prove my point with two words. Cleveland Browns.
Bernie Kosar was good.
Yeah, and he's walking around with a walker right now that's been so long ago. He's got tennis balls on the bottom of that thing, so it doesn't make any noise while he's walking around. So the coach of the BYU, it's I think it's Sitake. I don't know. Sitake. It's spelled Sitake. Here was his quote. And I kind of liked it, and I'd like to get your opinion on it. It says, first of all, there's a competition at every position. The one that gets the most attention is the quarterback on every team. Do you agree or disagree with this statement?
I don't know.
See, these questions are supposed to be hard, man. If I just did cupcakes all the time, I mean,
what do you think?
I gave you the layup earlier. All right, you know what? I'll take this one. It's not like you haven't had these notes for a day and a half or anything. But anyway, so I agree with him. I agree with him until he got to the on every team part.
Yeah.
There is not a quarterback competition on every team in college football. There's not a quarterback. And I'm going to kind of take your side for a moment. I know I'm talking out both sides of my mouth here for a second, but I don't agree with this quote as far as the every team part. If you've got a really good team, you know who your quarterback's going to be. Now, granted, BYU really thought that Jake Resloff was going to be their quarterback, and then he withdrew. So they didn't expect this. They didn't plan for this. But I was just kind of getting to, do you think it's better to have the quarterback? Do you like the competition kind of part of it like that? And I'll wrap it up by asking you this. Just the last question, then we'll jump to our final. We're going to call it college football 4 wide, right? So the one that gets the most attention, of course, is the quarterback. But can you have sustained success with 6 quarterback competitions in the last 10 years like BYU has? I don't think we would say BYU is a success. So can you have sustained success when you've got a quarterback competition 6 of the last 10 years?
No. And I get why he said what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Competition can sometimes bring the best out of everyone, but you cannot always have competition. You can't, especially if your starter was successful the year before, you can't just say, oh, we're opening the competition up every year. No, you can't. You need a good quarterback. You need the guy. I can't imagine having an amazing year and then, oh, wait, we recruited this freshman and he's a 4-star recruit. You're going to have to compete with him, even though you're a rising junior. No, that's not realistic. So I don't understand his reasoning. And by the way, if Bully is still watching, he probably does not know. You can Google Jake Retzlaff. Retzlaff is his name, and why he had to withdraw from BYU. Bully will find it funny. We don't have to necessarily talk about it, but
okay. Now you've got me curious. I'm going to have to go. I did not Google that. I need to go Google it. By the way, if you're typing on your Google machine right now while you're still watching us, Retzlaff is spelled Retzlaff. So yeah, try that out for size. Let me give you another name you might want to Google that I am probably also going to butcher, and he is going to have a big effect on the game of college football here within the next little bit. Let's get to that particular banner here. Make sure I got the right one. There it is. The long and short-term effects of Jaquandon Guilford. That's what we're going to say. And we're only going to say it once. All right. So that guy was supposed to commit to Ohio State on June 27th.
yes,
Then he was supposed to commit on Monday. And now he says he's not going to commit to anybody until Friday. Let me go over here and give you a little bit of information about him. So he is a 6'2", 190-pound wide receiver from Fort Wayne, Indiana. He is still in high school, and he is in the class of 2026. He has offers from the following schools. I'm still scrolling down. Wisconsin, Vanderbilt, Toledo, Purdue, Pittsburgh, Penn State, Ole Miss, Missouri, Michigan State, Miami of Florida, the University of Kentucky, the University of Kansas, Georgia, Arkansas State, Arkansas, Akron, Ohio State, Tennessee, Michigan, and Indiana. And he has only made 4 visits from those schools. He has chosen to visit Indiana. Of course, he's from Fort Wayne, Indiana, so I understand that. He has visited Michigan, he's visited Tennessee, and he's visited Ohio State. Geez, I've said all of that to ask you this short, simple question. Should all kids have to commit to college on the same day?
Before I answer that, I thought you knew. So Jake Retzlaff, he broke the BYU honor code. Did you not know that?
No, I have no idea why he got.
Okay, well, we won't talk about what he did. But anyway, he was going to be suspended by BYU. That's why he left. He broke the honor code. Okay. So, yes, Jaquandon Guilford. I hope that's how you pronounce it.
One of us is probably, well, you know what? Both of us are probably wrong, but we both tried, sir.
Yeah, he's a big-time recruit receiver. Same day, I wouldn't say so. I'd prefer they did. I mean, that'd be good for the fans, but you can't make everyone. You have to make a decision by this point because everyone wants to pick this school. But I don't like the game he's playing. He's playing a game. It just seems like to me, he's a 4-star recruit. Any team that gets him is going to be happy. He's got really good size, and hopefully goes to the Vols. But you can't make them pick the same day. I wish, but you can't.
Well, okay. So if you can't make them pick the same day, let me add a little intrigue to that. Could you give them a day to where they have to pick by this date? Like, let's say they have to pick by July 1st.
Yeah, you should have a cutoff. Yeah, absolutely should have a cutoff. I don't like multiple signing days either. I think you should have a cutoff. You know, you have to pick by this point, and once you pick a school, you can't transfer to a certain amount of time.
Okay. Would you, if you were one of these schools, and I know he's a big time recruit, you've already said a 4-star recruit, wide receiver, good sized kid at, hang on, let me make sure I get it right, 190, 6'2", 190, good sized kid, especially coming out of high school, right? But I want to ask you this because I think I would. Would you decrease your offer to an undecisive kid?
Oh, no, he's really good. I think it depends on the university. I think it depends on the depth of receiver on your depth chart. Maybe 3 receivers already coming in. Maybe you only have 1 receiver coming in. You know, and a team like Indiana, you know, could really use this kid probably more than Tennessee, Ole Miss, Ohio State, you know, Michigan.
Right. I agree with that.
So, yeah,
in the ESPN 300, he's listed as the 187th best prospect. So it's not like he's top 100 or anything. He's in that middle echelon in there somewhere.
That still could help a lot of teams. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Still really good. But I don't know. Is that especially if you're in Ohio State or if you're a Tennessee who's probably got other kids that are honestly already on their team and are just as good or pretty close to it. I don't know if I want this kid on the team because you said it. You said it perfectly. He's playing a game. He's like, okay, he's like an auctioneer up there, right? I got $1,000, $1,000. No, I got $1,100. And he's just going to different colleges and trying to get as much money as he can, or he wouldn't be doing this, right?
Personally, if he's getting offers from Ohio State, Michigan, Tennessee, Ole Miss, why aren't you going to one of those schools? Like Ohio State, I mean, like you said, though, Ohio State's always got receivers. It's like receiver you, but you know, LSU is too. But what if you want to win a national title and they're offering? Let's be honest. If another school that's not Ohio State, Michigan, or something is offering more money, just a little bit more, why aren't you? It's just a little more money. Go to a place where you could win a national title. Like Ohio State's offering you. What are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing?
Well, I mean, like you just said, and here's going to be how we wrap this up with the third and final question here, but then we're going to jump into our NFL talk. If he's deciding between Ohio State, Ole Miss, Indiana, Michigan, Tennessee, those are like the top 5 schools that he's gotten offers from other schools, but I would say those are the ones he's doing. He only visited Ohio State, Tennessee, Michigan, Indiana. I threw Ole Miss in there because from everything that I could read, they're really pushing for him now. Like they've jumped in there and trying to steal him from one of those other schools. So if he's deciding between those schools, knowing that he's a receiver, and if you were his dad, which college team are you telling him to go to where he will have the best chance to eventually go to the NFL?
Well, if I was his dad, I would tell him Tennessee because I'm a Vols fan. But if I was not a fan, I would tell him to go to Ohio State if I was his dad. I mean, look, Marvin Harrison went to Syracuse. His son went to Ohio State. So it's wide receiver you. Their receivers get like 2 or 3 receivers drafted in the first round. Seems like every year. So
yeah, I agree with you. You called it wide receiver you, and yeah, that's 100% right. That is what Ohio State is right now, no doubt. All right, let's jump into our NFL talk, buddy. Let's get into your realm here, and we're going to end today's show with that. We thank all 110 of you for being with us live right here on the Sportz Truth. Myself, Mike Valentine. That is Cheese. You can get him at Football with Cheese. You can follow more of our stuff over at. Well, I was going to say at because I'm a retard, but I was getting so you can follow us at the 643 and Out Pod, and sorry, I'm not always politically correct, but hey, Cheese, where can they get you on Twitter, buddy?
You don't have to be politically correct. This is a podcast. At Football with Cheese, football with, you guys know how to spell that. Hopefully, Cheese is Cheez. We go over NFL. We talk a lot of college football. We big focus on the NFL draft. We talk about analytics, trends around the league. I don't just read stats. I don't just analyze what Colin Cowherd said. I can't even talk.
Colin Cowherd. There you are, sir.
Well, Cowturd. There are some channels out there. I don't know if you've seen them. All they do is analyze what Darren Orlovsky or Colin Cowherd said, and that's their channel. And
why don't just watch the original show and be done, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's the thing is our shows here, we're original. Locked on Diamondbacks, original Diamondbacks content. So there you go.
Right. And I appreciate the many plugs for the day, sir. So let's start with this. The San Francisco 49ers are allowing a disturbing trend to continue within their organization. Now, this is from me. This is not from Cheese. So, those of you who are San Francisco 49ers people, don't be jumping over on Cheese's channel and telling him how terrible he is. You can, but I made up this question. So, and I'm sure they do. So there you got players demanding and crying and then ultimately getting more money, right? So let me give you the few examples here, and then we'll jump into this and what you think about it. So in 2002, Deebo Samuel did it. He basically scrubbed his social media. He was unhappy with his hybrid role. Then he got 3 years, $73.5 million with $51.1 million guaranteed. Then, of course, later on, he was traded to Washington. So in 2023, the very next year, this is where this trend is coming into place. Nick Bosa did the same thing. He won the 2022 Defensive Player of the Year. He held out in training camp for 44 days. Then he signed the largest defensive contract in history at that time, $170 million with 122 guaranteed. And that's not all, because in 2024, Brandon Ayuk had his girlfriend hint that he wouldn't be on the team last year. That's how he started everything. Then there was reports of him being traded. Then he went on his former Arizona State buddy, Jaden Daniels, TikTok, and did a thing on that where he said, "They don't want me back," in quotes. So he formally requested a trade, felt great about himself when he got second team All-Pro, which I don't think is all that great, but okay, whatever. Then he was a hold-in to where he didn't get fined in training camp. Then he signed a 4-year. This is how all this ends, right? He signed a 4-year, $120 million. So what I don't like about this is they cry, they complain, but then in the end, the 49ers give in to them and give them what they want. Cheese, what do you think about this trend in the San Francisco organization?
There's a lot to unpack here, but there are two main points. One, they caved. They could have stood their ground
every time,
and they caved every time because those are really good players. Let's be honest, really good players. Deebo's now not as good as he used to be, but marquee key players, and they caved. And I'll use Dallas as an example. The Cowboys did something similar. They waited too long. They didn't want to pay Dak Prescott or CeeDee Lamb what they wanted. And they waited and waited, and then they had to pay him even more because the market went up the next year. And that's what the 49ers could have done. They could have extended them earlier. They didn't. They waited. Oh, no, we don't want to pay you that. We don't think you're worth that. And then all of a sudden, okay, we have to. We're stuck because we're going the regular season. We're a Super Bowl contender. So we need to have them in camp. We need to have them ready for the regular season. So I'll just make one more point. Some teams will value character a lot. They will analyze the character and project whether this guy will sign a team-friendly extension or will not. And the 49ers have a lot of players that did not. They had a lot of players that were it's all about the Darrelle Revis is the perfect example. He went anywhere they gave him the most money, no matter what. Unbelievable player, Hall of Fame corner. He was incredible, but he didn't care who he went to. He just wanted the most money. And that's basically what the 49ers had.
Right. So I think the 49ers And to be honest, all sports teams, I want to make this pretty clear too. This is just the one that I could point fingers at and give specific examples as we go down through the years. They're not the only sports team that do this. I just think that sports teams should look at players and say 3 words to them: honor your contract. You know, I paid you. You agreed to it. Shut up and play out your contract. And then in that off season, we'll talk about re-signing you. But until then, I don't want to hear it. I don't care if you scrub your social media. I don't care if you have your girlfriend get on there and say something. I don't care if you go on somebody's TikTok and say something. I'd care less. And if teams just put their foot down, then I think this would stop. But until teams do, it's just going to keep going. I mean, you know, I work at a prison. I'm sure most of you guys out there have heard me say it before. You can't let the inmates run the asylum. And I believe that's what San Francisco is doing right now. What do you think about the honor your contract part, Cheese?
I agree. And it used to be, the league used to be more like that. Not everyone, but the 49ers, once they caved on one contract, they're going to cave on all of them. They didn't have any leverage, you know? So, yeah. And they were terrible last year, let's be honest.
Yeah. And when they do finally put their foot down, if they finally put their foot down, they're going to have to be willing to lose some really good players because they put their foot down.
Yep.
And they're probably not willing to do that. So therefore they're not ever going to do it. And I think this is just going to be a vicious cycle that we're going to have to contend with.
They lost Charvarius Ward, defensive back, really underrated defensive back. He's been really good the last few years. They lost him in free agency. They lost Aaron Banks, their left guard. So they don't necessarily have great replacements going into this year. So they didn't have the salary cap to pay them. And they had to move Deebo Samuel's contract. And Brandon Ayuk got hurt, and they're still paying him. By the way, Brandon Ayuk, you mentioned him. They actually tried to trade him, but did not get the compensation they wanted, so they decided to pay him instead. They would have traded him. There were teams interested, but they could not get the compensation they wanted. I think Pittsburgh and New England were 2 teams interested. Washington was another. And so they decided to go ahead and pay him instead.
Yeah, it's and now I forgot to put on there who's now the newest guy who's trying to get a big contract from them, and it's Juwan Jennings. That's the whole reason I started this, and then I didn't mention his name when I did all the intro stuff in the beginning of the segment there. But yeah, now Juwan Jennings is saying, hey, I want a new contract too. Who's going to be next, right? It's like I say, it's a vicious cycle that they are allowing to go on. And I just don't like it. Something else going on over there, buddy?
No, it's just I was seeing the score 6-4. I missed a run, but National League still leads 6-4. Juwan Jennings, though, the rumor is, I don't know if this is a fact, that he will report to camp, but he wants a new contract or a trade, but he's willing to show up in camp. So at least there's that positive if the rumor's true. So
I assume this means that our buddy Mezarowski is on the mound. He says Mizzy on the mound. So
he is on the mound, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that update.
In the 8th inning? Why are you putting him in the 8th inning? He's never been a setup man ever. Like, why are you using him now? Dave Roberts he's an idiot. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about man. You know what? Maybe we'll have to do that.
Okay, he didn't give up a homer. He almost gave up a homer. He didn't. Morning track.
That would have, man, they'd have crucified Dave Roberts and Jacob if that would have happened. So
just missed. Randy Arozarena just missed.
Randy Arozarena, I love him. I love I can't really. He just crosses his arms. I love the move. I got his autograph this spring training. I was so happy. It was when I made my spring. It really did. All right, so here's my other question to you. We're going to wrap it up with this. You started to bring it up, and I think you looked at the question. You were like, "Oh, wait, can't talk about that yet because he's going to ask me this question." So here's the question: Brandon Ayuk is hurt. Mm-hmm. Is Brandon Ayuk going to give him any money back since he's hurt now? I mean, isn't that how this works? Is it's both ways, right? So I want a bunch of money because I'm a really good player. But then when I get hurt, oh, well, thank you for giving me all my money that I'm not going to give back to you. but yet they want these teams to pay them a ton of guaranteed money. That's what I hear is holding up the J.J. Watt deal. That's what I hear is holding up the Hutchinson deal right now, is that they both want most of their salary guaranteed to them, and they're older players. So I'm not saying that I understand it. Okay, so I'm going to ask this. Is he going to give any of the money back to the 49ers?
No.
I already know what this is, right? No. So
no chance.
This is going to be kind of a strange question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. It's not on our notes. I'm sorry. I'm going to throw this at you here real quick.
Do it.
Would you rather know? So I know you're a Green Bay Packers fan, right? If there was a guy on the Packers, like let's say they're looking at giving Jordan Love a huge extension. Would you like to know, as a Packers fan, what the back and forth is more than what we usually know? Do you think that would make you a better fan or a more fanatic fan if you knew some of those details more than what we know? Or should the teams and the players keep it kind of secretive and to where we're all just kind of in the dark and just waiting?
As someone who has a YouTube channel, I want to know everything.
Of course.
But
that's why I said as a fan, not as a
fan,
YouTuber.
No, we shouldn't know because it can get ugly. Contract disputes, contract negotiations can get really ugly. So that's why players will demand trade, and a month later they re-sign, like Myles Garrett. Like, it can get ugly because you're far apart, and so the Freddie Freeman Braves negotiation, that's a whole other topic for another day. That was really ugly. So
yeah,
I want to know everything, but no, for fans should know the whole details now.
Okay. So let's look at our second question here on our NFL 4-down territory. It's this. According to the NFL Network, so you can help me with some of these names. I'm sure you do more of this stuff and watch more NFL Network than I do. I know Brian. It's Brian Baldinger, I believe. So his agent is not his agent, but the agent for Von Miller is Joby Branion, Branion. He told him, so the agent told Brian that Von Miller has 3 very interested teams, quote unquote. So here's the question to start us off with. His Bills contract was 6 years, $120 million, or my simple Ohio math tells me that that's $20 million per season. Would you sign him to a 1-year contract that's half that at $10 million? And why or why not, Cheese?
No chance. He looks done. He has not looked like the same player. I wouldn't pay him $5 million. And there's a reason why he hasn't signed anywhere. He looks cooked. So no, I would not touch that. Okay,
so help me out here a little bit. I'm hoping one of them is the Arizona Cardinals, but I'll let you tell me. Speculate, and that's 100% what we're doing right now. Speculate, unless you have some kind of inside source in your football with cheese realm over there. Maybe it's in the bottom drawer down there. Your football with cheese realm. You should start that. You should pull that book out every, kind of like your sign for your buddy that you kept putting up on the screen all the time. You should pull out a book. Anyway, that one's free for you, bud. So speculate for me on who you think these 3 interested teams might be in Von Miller.
I don't have to speculate. There's not 3 teams.
Oh, okay.
It's a lie. The fact that Baldinger is saying there's 3 teams means there's not. There might not be any, maybe one, but that's what agents do. They leak stuff to someone on NFL Network, not an insider, not Ian Rappaport, not Tom Belisario, not Adam Schefter, to Brian Baldinger, who is a former offensive lineman that breaks down film for NFL Network. He does a good job of it. Brian Baldinger used to play for the Cowboys and Eagles, I think. Went to Duke. But he is not an insider, so let's just leak it to him and he'll report it and to try to get more teams interested. Oh, 3 teams interested, But I don't think there's a lot of interest. I think that's the only reason that's out there, that they use Brian Baldinger. I don't think there's much interest at all. And if there is, it's for very little money because a lot of teams don't have much cap room left.
Okay. The third question here, and then we're going to move on to the Chicago Bears here in just a second. Branion also said, I don't think Von's too crazy about going to training camp. That was his quote. Would you sign him after training camp, knowing that he is in the end of his career and he didn't go to training camp?
Well, I'll say this about Von Miller. I get it. Okay. Veteran players hate training camp. They don't want to go. I don't know if you remember this, Michael. Michael Strahan's last year, he played I don't know if I want to play, I want to retire. And as soon as training camp ended, I want to come back for one more year of the Giants. He pulled that. And then he minute later, I didn't want to go to training camp. And if I said I wanted to come back, they would have fined me. They would have said, why aren't you here? So I had to pretend like I didn't want to come back, even though I wanted to. So I get it. You're a veteran player. Your body's worn down. You've been through it before. So I wouldn't sign him, though, because I want my players in camp. But I understand it from Von Miller's perspective.
Yeah, it's not just that they're missing schemes and stuff like that. They're missing valuable times with the other players. They're missing reading the book. That's, everybody's playbook is different, right? And they're missing stuff like that. Let me ask you this. So is Von Miller, and again, this is not going to be on our notes. I said this was going to be the last question, but I'm going to ask you one more. Would you sign Von Miller if you had the understanding that he was a third down rusher only? Like he was, I'm rushing the quarterback every third down. I'm going to be in some kind of package where I come in, or a fourth down or something like that. And I know you've talked about this in your other breakdowns, to where you've basically said, like when they draft people in the 6th or 7th round, something like that, they drafted this guy because he can only play this position, or they drafted this guy because he has one skill set, and that one skill set is rush the quarterback every once in a while. You've said that kind of stuff before on your podcast that I've listened to. So would you rather have the 6th, 7th, 8th round pick in the draft, or would you rather have the experience of Von Miller coming in that situation?
Yeah, you're talking about designated pass rusher, where you only do not play on rundowns. I think I'd rather have a late round pick. I did not watch every snap of Von Miller, but I watched him a lot, and it just wasn't good enough. And he had to prove he's healthy. He's had trouble staying healthy. That's a big thing. You sign him, you don't know he's going to stay healthy. So I get why you're asking. It sounds like you really want your Cardinals to sign him, but I would maybe do it at league minimum. But you got to think, some of these teams, they used a 6th or 7th round pick on designated pass rusher, a young guy they like, and it would take a roster spot. They'd have to cut him and hope they can get him back on the practice squad. So
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same point, they could sign him to the league minimum and then say, okay, for every rush, every quarterback drop that you get, it's not drop. Every I'm trying to think of every sack. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Every sack you get over 5 is $500,000, or every time you do, it's like an incentive laden contract. They could do that, right? Sign him in the league minimum and then do incentive laden type contract.
They could. He'd have to agree to it, though. A lot of veteran players want just guaranteed money, so he would have to agree to it, and I'm not sure he will.
Okay, sounds good. Let's move on to our third question. It's about the Chicago Bears, and then we're going to end everything.
Diamondback player got hit. Suarez got hit on the hand. The trainer is with him. Oh no!
Now you're gonna make it. I want to go on. Now I want to go watch I want to watch it. Oh man, I love Suarez. Loved him when he was with the Reds. Loved him when he was with the Diamondbacks.
You're looking at his ring finger. The White Sox. If they put a White Sox pitcher in there, White Sox shouldn't be allowed to be in the All-Star game.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be. Okay. Thanks, Cheese.
Sorry. Yeah, I only bring bad news. I don't bring good news.
No, you bring a lot of great insight to this show, though, and I know a lot of our fans appreciate it, or we wouldn't be at 120 people right now. So, So the Chicago Bears gave GM Ryan Poles a 5-year extension. Were you surprised?
Shocked.
Shocked is the word he's going to use.
Shocked.
So let me give you some statistics on Poles, why he has been the GM, and then we can kind of move on here from there. So his overall record since he's been the GM is 15-6. He has never had a winning season. He has never been in the playoffs. He's had three last place finishes in that division since he's been there. He's had 2 seasons where they've had 5 wins or less. So why did Chicago do this, Chiefs? Why? You're in the same division with your Packers. I'm sure you see them at least twice out of the year, right? If you don't watch them any other time.
Great news for Chiefs. I don't know why they did this, but it was not deserving. He's not done a good job, and the only thing I can think of is they want to show the fans, we want continuity. We have a new head coach. They got lucky. They got probably the best head coach candidate in years, in Ben Johnson. Okay. Great offensive coordinator for the Lions. His play design was unreal. I watched some of this. I mean, he's just a great offensive mind. I don't know if he'll be a great head coach, but he's a great offensive mind.
Okay.
And maybe we want continuity, but the thing is, Ryan Poles has not done a good job. If it wasn't for that trade with the Panthers, they lucked out. They traded down and got the Panthers' first-round pick because they had Justin Fields was their quarterback, right? The Panthers. What if he had been C.J. Stroud? What if Bryce Young had played amazing and made the playoffs? Then that pick ends up in the 20s, and they don't get the first pick. That trade ended up great for them, but it was an unknown trade. Yeah, It looks like, oh wow, it's one of the best trades ever. Well, it was an unknown trade. You don't know how good or bad the Panthers are going to be. He just has not drafted well, and it's like he's being rewarded for winning the offseason. But winning the offseason doesn't mean shit. The Bears haven't won a game. They haven't played a game. and you don't know all these offseason moves. Look, the Bears look so much better on paper. They do. The offensive line looks better on paper. They look like they had an amazing draft. Don't get me wrong. They do. But that doesn't mean they're going to be great this year. And what if they win 6 or 7 games? Then the fans are going to be livid. You were rewarding him for an unknown offseason, basically.
Okay, so he's had some hits, right? You talked about the Panthers trade. He got Montez Sweat. I would say that was a hit for him. That was a win for him. He also got Joe Thuney, right? That's how you say it?
Joe Thuney, to play left guard. He is 32 years old, but he's been one of the best left guards in the NFL for years.
Right, and then, of course, Jonah Jackson. They just got that as well. So he is
Drew Dominant center. Drew Dominant center was a big pickup as well.
Okay, I didn't have that one on the list, but sure, you know more about this than I do, so I'll give way to you. And you kind of alluded to it, so I'm just going to flat out ask you here as we're getting ready to go into our Truth Top 10, and we're going to do the top 10 Super Bowl contenders. You don't know what mine are. I don't know what yours are, just so everybody knows. And this will be the way that this top 10 always is. I will not send my picks to Cheese, and Cheese won't send his picks to me. We'll see how this all pans out in the end. So is there something to signing Poles and Johnson together for the next 5 years? You talked about continuity. So how important do you think that is?
I don't think it's important because Poles has been there for years. And if they came in together and they both had success together, let's extend them like Brad Holmes and the GM of the Lions. Extend him and I'm blanking. Who's the head coach of the Lions? He was a tight end for the Saints for the years. I can't think of his
big fiery guy.
Help us out in the chat.
Somebody shoot it to us.
Am I gonna have to Google it? I can't think of it. I don't. It's late at night. We're old,
right? Well, at least one of us is. I mean, I'll take that one.
Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell.
There we go. You
but
got
Dan Campbell, Brett Holmes. They've won the division 2 years in a row. They've had success. They haven't gotten to the Super Bowl yet, but still. So extending both of them would have made sense. I just don't think Ryan Poles has done a good job. And every year it seems like the Bears win the offseason. People on NFL Network, they're always like, the Bears are finally going to be good. I hear this every year, and I hear it again this year. And they never are. The Bears still suck. That's just
I mean, they're not the only team. Everybody thinks the Chargers are going to go to the playoffs every year too.
Chargers. Who thinks that?
Man,
So,
a bunch of people don't watch your channel. That's who thinks that.
I don't want to sit here and knock the Bears. I think they're better. They're definitely better on paper, but I don't think Ryan Poles has done a very good job. And you're rewarding him for winning the offseason on paper, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so I agree with you. Next week, we're going to do a couple things. Let me preview that real quick because I also talk about Cheese's channel as well. So next week, we're going to look at one person in each division, AFC, NFC, West, East, North, South, that we should be talking about more. I think this will be a really good topic for us to dive into next week. And then we're getting ready to do our top 10 Super Bowl contenders. That's our very first Truth top 10 of the season. We're probably going to keep that up, especially if you guys end up liking it. Then comment down below when we get to that part, or you can do it right now, especially if you say it's great, because we'll agree with you. So this week, in the podcast that I was talking about earlier that Cheese did on the positional players, he said something that caught me off guard. And now it's going to be really funny next week because I'm going to make Cheese eat his cheese. You ready? Here's what it's going to be.
I'm ready.
He said that punters and kickers are not real NFL players.
I did.
So next week, we are going to rank the top punters, kickers, and kick returners. And we're going to make Cheese eat his cheese and tell everybody exactly who those great players are in the NFL. But right now, we're going to go to our Truth Top 10, and we're going to do Super Bowl contenders. All right. We're going to start with 10. So he was trying to help us out there. JC was giving us the name, right? May have to make him eat moldy cheese. Maybe it depends. We'll do all that next week, right? And then punters and kickers are players, right?
No, they're not.
Okay. Got all kinds of it.
They're not football players.
Oh, Roger's giving us an update. Ellie up to bat in the 8th with 2 on and 1 out. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not even sure what the score is anymore. I wasn't sure what the score was in the beginning.
6-4. It's 3-0. 1 out, 2 on. So, yeah. De La Cruz, dangerous hitter.
Oh, here we go. Now, see, I don't agree with this. Punters and kickers are not real and cannot hurt you. That's from South County Splat.
Oh,
I love that. It's like saying South County Splat. I feel like I should say it with like a wad of tobacco in my mouth or something to be like South County Splat. But anyway, let's get into our Truth Top 10 here, buddy. We're going to start with number 10, and we're going to work our way up to 1. And once again, fans, this is really true. We wouldn't lie to you. I don't know what Cheese is going to pick, and Cheese has no idea what I'm going to pick. I think it'll be kind of an interesting exercise, especially here in the bottom, like 3 or 4, to see where each of us are at. So I'm going to ask, you're the co-host, buddy. Do you want to go first, or you want me to start off and go give mine number 10, and then you give your number 10, and then come back to 9 and stuff like that?
I feel like I always go first, so I would love for you to go first, Michael. You're number 10.
You're going to defer. All right.
I always defer. I want the ball in the second half.
Okay, and that's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. So here we go. The Truth Top 10 Super Bowl contenders. We will get that going here in just a second. I was going to throw some music up there, but I why not do it real quick? I can do it pretty fast. So we'll do some music in the background as everything is going right now as we go through it. You know what? We haven't played any country type stuff for a little bit. Because someone has to win this division. The Houston Texans.
That's your number 10?
That's my number 10.
It's my number 10.
Is it your number 10?
Yes.
All right. I said because somebody's got to win this division, right? So I picked Houston to win that division. and be my number 10 Super Bowl contender. So you did the same thing. Houston's your number 10 as well?
Houston is my number 10, yes.
All right. Do you have a different reason than the fact that somebody's got to win that division?
Well, they're going to win the division very likely. And I think they're going to be better than next year, but they're still not on the level of like the Ravens, Bills, like that. But Stroud showed enough rookie year. If he bounces back, they drafted some receivers. The key for them is the offensive line. But yeah, I have them 10. I think they're the 10th best team in the NFL. Yeah.
Okay. My number 9 team, and it's pretty much the same reason, but it's just a different division, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At number 9 for me, Super Bowl contenders.
We were close on the Buccaneers. Okay.
Who's your number 9, sir?
Green Bay Packers. I got my Green Bay Packers.
All right. Green Bay Packers for you is number 9. I'll bounce back here to the number 8. And it's because they have a last place schedule, but they do have a talented team in certain aspects of their team. So I will put the San Francisco 49ers at number 8. So for me, it's been Houston, Tampa, San Francisco. So for yourself, Cheese, it was Houston, Green Bay, and now you're number 8, which is
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep, they were
All
close.
right.
I believe in the Buccaneers. I think they could give some people some trouble.
I do too. I've always liked Baker. He's got a great receiving core around him as well. So he's got.
They had a good draft. They've drafted well the last couple of years, so they have a good roster. They would have done some damage, in my opinion, in the playoffs, but they got that hot Washington team at home. They played Washington first round at home, lost a 3-point game. They played them well, so I think they could have gone into Detroit and maybe won like Washington did, but we'll never know.
Okay. Now, this is the first one that I think we're going to have some controversy at. And I'm going to be interested to see if you have this team ranked this low, because I think a lot of other players, or a lot of other people, will have the Detroit Lions ranked a lot higher than 7th. I put Detroit at 7 because of this statement right here. Every road team they play this year has a winning record from last year. So I think those teams will be pretty tough to beat. And I think their road back to the Super Bowl will be a little more challenging. I think they will make the playoffs, but as far as a Super Bowl contender, I think there's 6 teams above them that can make the Super Bowl more than what the Detroit Lions could. What do you have to say?
They also lost both coordinators, and they're both really good. So I get it. I have them higher on this list, but I get it.
All right, so who's your number 7 team, Chiefs?
The Washington Commanders are my number 7. And they made the Final Four last year. I get it. But they got hot. They did not have a top 4 roster. I don't even know if they're a top 7 team, but they have an elite quarterback. Whenever you have an elite quarterback, they can carry a team. So, yeah, Washington is my number 7 team.
All right. So, again, from you know what? I'll give you my number 6, and then I'll give you the 5, and then we'll go from there. So, again, this is probably one of those teams that people are going to have ranked a little higher than what I've got them. And I put them here because they seem to always get to the playoffs, but they've got to get over that first round, second round hump to get to the Super Bowl, because that's what this was top 10 Super Bowl contenders, not top 10 playoff contenders. They would be much higher if it was playoff. But since I divvied this as Super Bowl contenders, at number 6, I put the Baltimore Ravens.
I have them much higher.
Okay. So who do you have at number 6?
The Los Angeles Rams. The Rams, to me, are no one's really talking about them. They added Devontae Adams. They already have a good offensive line. And they were the only team in the playoffs that came close to beating the Eagles. The Eagles easily won the other 3 games. They went in that snow game in Philadelphia and almost beat them. If they had double-teamed Jalen Carter, they might have beaten them. So I think people sleeping on the Rams. So I think they're going to be really good.
I'm sleeping on the Rams too, because to be honest with you, I mean, I knew I was going to choose Houston. I knew I was going to choose Tampa because somebody's got to win those 2 divisions, right? And then for me, I looked at San Francisco and I looked at the Rams, and I was like, okay, who am I going to put here at number 8? And I chose San Francisco over the Rams. I don't even have the Rams in my top 10. I also don't have the Packers in my top 10. So far, we've already got 2 teams that, we do not agree on. So mine, number 10 was Houston, Tampa, San Francisco, Detroit. Baltimore was number 6, and jumping into the top 5 at number 5, because the refs' magic is over, are the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow, I'm wondering. There's going to be some team that you have in your top 5 that I don't even have on this list, I think. So, so you have the Chiefs 5. Okay. No, I get it.
Start us off on your list, sir. Start us off with 10 and go up to number 5. Tell us who you got in each one of those spots.
So 10, I had the Houston Texans. 9, I had the Green Bay Packers. 8, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 7, Washington Commanders. 6, I had the Los Angeles Rams. And 5, I have the Detroit Lions.
All right. I like this.
The Lions still, to me, have, if you take away the quarterback, the best roster in the NFL. They do. Take away the quarterback. I think the Lions roster is just loaded, but obviously you can't, Goff is not as good as, some of the other quarterbacks on these teams.
Well, I'm going to prove to you that I listen to a lot of your stuff on your channel right now, because it's not that you think Goff is bad. Just Goff has 2 or 3 really terrible games, according to your analysis on your channel, which you can go back and listen to all of those teams. He gives you all 32 teams on Football with Cheese, CHEEZ, just like the Sportz Truth is SPORTZ, right? We'll throw that in there real fast for everybody to spell correctly on both accounts. And yes, it's not that Jared Goff is a bad quarterback. He just always seems to have I believe you said like 3 bad games, maybe 2 bad games, but that really
3 or 4 a year. He just looks awful, and the rest of the games he looks like an MVP candidate. I don't understand it. He had a 5 interception game against Houston. They still won somehow, and he was horrible against Washington in the playoffs. They lost at home. They were number 1 seed. They got the bye, and they lost. He was terrible in that game. I don't understand it, but that's just who Jared Goff is.
All right, so we'll get into all these comments here. Most of them are by JC. He's still with us. He's still awake. He's typing away.
Bucks are going to be good. I think the Bucks are going to be better than people think. Yeah.
And then here's another team that is not in my top 10.
I did not have the Chargers in my top 10. I don't know. I don't know about their defense, but
Okay. All right. So, my number 4 team, we just put Kansas City at number 5. So number 4, the offense. Can their defense do a little bit and allow their offense to beat all the other teams?
Wow.
I don't know. We'll see. He's over here going, wow.
I know who you're saying. I know exactly who you're about to say.
Cincinnati Bengals at number 4 for my Super Bowl playoff contenders. Cheese, who's your number 4 guy?
I would have had the Bengals 11th, just so you know. But
okay.
I cannot trust their offensive line or their defense. So my number 4 is the Kansas City Chiefs. You still have to put them out there. They still have Mahomes. They still have Andy Reid. So they're still a contender. And their offensive line could be better. So, yeah. Josh Simmons might be ready for camp, or ready for the regular season.
Well, I tell you what, man. Everybody must love the Truth Top 10. We've got our highest number right now. We're at 131 with us live right now. So we certainly appreciate everybody who is still with us. Let me review everything from 10 up to number 4, and then we'll start with our top 3 from each one of us. So myself, I had Houston at 10, then Tampa's 9, San Francisco 8, Detroit came in at 7, Baltimore at 6, Kansas City at 5, the Cincinnati Bengals came in at number 4. At number 3, the team that you have already mentioned, and I believe they are better on paper than they were last year, but I am worried about a sophomore slump. The Washington Commanders at number 3 for me.
Okay. I get it. I get it. They looked amazing, and Jaden Daniels is incredible. I'm just a little surprised that you put the Bengals ahead of the Ravens. A little surprised, but
Well, I might be able to homer in me a little bit, but kind of like when you put the Packers at 9, that might be the homer in you a little bit. So
they won 11 games last year. I mean,
Yes,
how's that not a top 10 team? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not discounting what they're doing. I really think that you got Burrow and you got the two best receivers, probably, well, at least the best receiver in all of football. I'll put it to you this way. I think you have the best number one receiver in all of football, and I think you have the best number two receiver in all of football. I wouldn't say they're a number one and number two, but one of them has to be a one and one of them has to be a two. So I think you got a really good tight end.
I agree.
You got a decent running back. The line's not great. Burrow's going to be running for his life. But if the defense can keep under 32 points, 31, 32 points, I think they can win 11, 12 games if the defense can do that. So I got Washington at number 3. Please, who do you have at number 3 in our top 10 Super Bowl contenders?
I have the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles at number 3. Eagles fans might not like that, but they, to me, lost more than they brought in. They're still a very good team, but I have the Eagles at number 3.
All right. I think we're going to have the same number 1 team before it's all said and done here. It'll be interesting to see. We've only got a few more teams to go. I had Washington as number 3. I've got the Philadelphia Eagles at number 2. I know they won the Super Bowl last year, but I also know they lost some parts. So that's why I put them at number 2 and just couldn't put them at number 1. In fact, to be really honest with you, the team that I have at number 1, that was one of the very first picks I did. I was like, oh, that team's number 1. I think they're head and shoulders above everybody else right at the moment, and I'll explain why once we get to number 1. So I have Washington 3, Philadelphia 2. So Chief, you had Philadelphia 3.
Yes.
And who do you have at number 2?
So we just kind of talked about it. I have the Baltimore Ravens. So
yes,
you're almost convincing me a little bit. Like maybe I should have put Cincinnati in this list. The Ravens-Bengals games, which were the best games in the regular season last year. One was an overtime game. The other was a 1-point game. Cincinnati almost beat them twice. They lost both because their defense could not stop anything.
Yes.
So if their defense just improves a little, they could have won both those games. I get it. But
they should have beat New England in the beginning.
Oh, horrible. That was the worst loss of the season.
It was, 100%.
And they would have made the playoffs. But the Ravens, to me, are going to be even better. I think they have a better roster than last year. I love their draft. I still think the Ravens are the best team in the AFC North. Really tough division. And Pittsburgh and Cincinnati should – I think all three of them are going to make the playoffs, to be honest with you. I think they're all playoff teams, but the Ravens I have number 2.
All right. So I'm going to go start from my number 10, and I'll ask you to do the same when we get to you here in a moment. So Houston, Tampa, San Francisco, Detroit, Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati, the Washington Commanders, the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles at number 2, and we've got to have the same team at number 1 because neither one of them have.
I know we do.
Neither one of us have mentioned them, and it's because. And man, you got me to do this, all right? You got me to do this, and honestly, on your channel, you got me to put the Bengals higher than when I had them originally. Okay. I was listening to you when you were like, oh, they almost beat the Ravens twice. And, you know, they did this and they did that. Man, Joe Burrow threw for like 18,947 yards and 55 touchdowns or something crazy like that. All their defense has to do is get a little bit better. I'll stop banging on my Bengals here, but I chose this team because of what you said in your analysis of them on your channel, and that is they went all defense in the draft, and they needed defense. That's what put this team at number 1 for me. It is that team way up there in New York, the Buffalo Bills. Tell me about the Buffalo Bills and why you also have them at number 1.
Yeah, real quick. I had Texans 10, Packers 9, Buccaneers 8, Commanders 7, Rams 6, Lions 5, Chiefs 4, Eagles 3, Ravens 2, and Buffalo Bills 1. Why I had the Bills number 1. Watching the Bills the last few years in the playoffs, they have trouble beating the Chiefs. They came close. We could talk about the refs all day long, but it wasn't because of Josh Allen. I think that's really important. Josh Allen played well. Okay. They lost because the defense just wasn't good enough. They got up 32 points in the game. The Bills scored 29 points. They should have beaten the Chiefs scoring 29 points. The defense just wasn't good enough. And they went heavy draft. Like you said, heavy defense in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved those picks. They needed a corner. They needed a pass rusher, interior pass rusher, TJ Sanders, corner, Maxwell Hairston, Landon Jackson, edge rusher. All three of those picks were good, especially Landon Jackson in the third round. Absolute steal. Their defense is better and it's deeper. And I just feel like the division's easier. I feel like this is the best chance to be the number one seed in the AFC and, best chance to win it all.
Okay. So, I like what we're doing here. I really like this Truth Top 10 thing that we're doing. I like how we're closing out the show with it. And, of course, when we say close out the show, we got to put the closing music on here. So we'll get from the country to the whistle here. That's what we kind of call this music around here, is I like the whistle part to the song. So, we got a couple more comments here to get to. I'm not sure about easy Super Bowl winners. I don't know. There's hardly anything ever easy in the
easy
NFL.
Division winners. They're going to win that division so easily. that's
yeah. I don't know. Do you think the Patriots can be a little bit better and maybe?
Oh, they'll be better, but they're not good. No one is close to the Bills. The Jets are below average. The Dolphins are a disaster. New England, they could win 7 or 8 games, but no one's competing with Buffalo. The big difference between Buffalo and Baltimore, to me, is, because they're my 1 and 2, is that the Bills have way easier division. And let's be honest, the Ravens were the number 3 seed because they have a tougher division. So last year's season. So I think the Bills are by far the favorite to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. So yeah.
All right, you guys can find this on Facebook. If you're Facebook people, if your friends are Facebook people, we'll put this up on our Facebook account. Once again, this is at the 643 and Out Pod on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube with the same exact address, at the 643 and Out Pod. Cheese, one more time, buddy. Where can we find you and your fantastic comment? And as you're doing it, I know you've got a new podcast out there that you just released earlier today. I'll have it up on our site tomorrow. Give the fans a little preview. Tell us what that's about.
What is my latest video?
Yes.
Yeah. Latest video is I looked at over and unders. I have 5 overs and 3 unders that I would bet on if I bet. I do not bet. I create. I'm a content creator instead, but bet responsibly. But if I were to bet, there are 8 teams I would lock in as over or under. So make sure you check out that in my channel. If you do bet those, though, it's not my fault. Bet responsibly. That's just my projection. So there you go. But Arizona Cardinals are going to be better than people think. And so are Minnesota Vikings. There you go. There's
the team. There's 2 of the 8,
yes.
Right? You said 8 teams. So there's 2 of the 8. Tune into his channel over at Football with Cheese and get the other 6 teams who Cheese would put his money on. Once again, guys, we thank you all very much. Almost 150 people with us live, and we certainly appreciate it. This will be on our Twitter and on our Facebook and on our YouTube channel. Please come back and visit it. Tell all your friends, even if you only have 1 or 2, that's still 1 or 2 more. So, we love each and every one of you. Thank you all very much for being here. Cheese, I'll give you the floor at the end before I give us our sign off. Anything you want to add to this great show today?
Well, I was just going to say, is there anything else about the Bills that you wanted to say while you put them first?
No, I just like, we all know they're really close. And then they did the draft. They did the defense in the draft, and I think that will push them over the top to be able to get to the Super Bowl. And I don't think there was a whole lot that they had to do, but they did what they had to do. So I like the moves they made.
Cool. Sounds good.
And they got rid of a cancer too in Stephon Diggs as well. So I think that's a addition by subtraction kind of move.
Oh, he didn't have a good offseason, and he might be on the PUP list to start the season too. So, New England, we'll see what happens. But
All right.
thanks for watching, everybody. Love all you guys, everyone watching.
All right. As Cheese blows you the kisses, I'm going to tell you this. Of course, as we always say at the end of every single show, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us.